words can't even describe. And it's just like, I be praying and hoping. All I pray for is that those babies, they'll have peace in the afterlife. Because they're not gonna have it here on Earth. You gotta just accept that they're not gonna have it here on Earth. It just is what it is. But just pray that they have peace in the afterlife. And I think you need to take a break. Nah, it's not an everyday thing. Like it was just him telling me about it. But it's like every time it comes to that, like now it's one of those things where like if the Pred tells me that he has child porn on his phone, I'm not gonna even like have him look for it. I just I'll take his word for it. It's just sad, y'all. It's sad. It's sad. But man, everything's been looking good, y'all. I'm actually gonna stop editing my videos, and I'm gonna just leave it up to my team, and then I'm gonna give them corrections whenever like they send it back and stuff. But I'm full focus for the rest of this year. I'm just full focusing on just catching these dudes. I think I got like 3-4 dudes lined up for next week. Like one of them's in Hawaii, so I might pop out to Hawaii and go catch this one dude, y'all. Freaking go do me a Hawaii catch. It's sad, y'all. It's sad. But the goal is to get over 100 arrests this year, and then hopefully all of them get convicted, Like, I'm going to just be, like, the conviction part, it's nothing I can do. All I can do is just give the evidence, testify, do all that. But everything else, that's in my power. I'm going to try my best. I got some courtroom footage that I'm going to post once the guy gets fully convicted. But that case, I think it's going to take a while. So I'm going to have to wait on that. Yeah, man. How you guys doing? Hope you guys having a good Shabbat. Let me get the shout out going in the announcements. Overcome sin. Overcome Babylon. Let me hit at everyone. Man, what's good with y'all though? What's good with y'all? I think Kevin J and them, they might be having their thing going on. Cause Ben and them usually be up in here, so I'm guessing that's where they are. I don't know where they be having their class, but I think that's where Ben and everybody is, and JJ. Cause Space just got up in here. Is that where they are? Yeah. You're in it right now? Okay. Where is it? I want to hop in. Where is it? I want to start hopping in. Thank you, Ruben. Every time I see your name, I always think Ruben Carter. But yeah, y'all, man, it's a year. It's the year to get these dudes. It's GG's. Thank you, Special Agent. It's GG's, y'all. It's GG's. it sucks that like I'm not gonna even lie, getting 100 dudes, that's actually on the low end, man. Like, in all honesty, could maybe even get more. I try to get a woman, man. I already told them I want to try to get one. Yeah, I already told my guy I want to get a girl, so he's working on it right now. They're rare. They're rare. They're out there though. They are definitely out there, them lesbians, but those are rare finds. Yeah, Roar. Not like us, so super funny. Appreciate you, Joel. Appreciate you, my man. Just ask for a prayer or what to read, and here's a notification. Let's get active. Praise God. Praise God. You should make them more. Nah, man. Not like us as played out. I can't keep on. That would be spamming it, man. I can't spam it. I can't be spamming it. What's good, Ben? If Ben's here, that means JJ is right behind. What chapter y'all getting into? Man, we just we be hopping around, but like it's all it's not none of that here a little there a little stuff. It's everything's connected. So I can't tell you where we're getting into today. That's gotta wait for brother Josh on that one, but I'm sure we're gonna get into it, and we always dive deep into the word. So I can tell you that much. Yeah, we just waiting on brother Josh, y'all. We just waiting. We just waiting. What was you guys talking about today in the study?
Here we go.
Oh, there he is. Oh yeah, on First Samuel's.
Indeed, I am. What's up, GDI?
What's good, brother Josh?
Everybody doing okay today?
Oh yeah.
Everybody blessed today?
How you doing?
Gideon, the police trying to cover up the cupcake killers now? They trying to cover for the cupcake killers?
Man, I want to say they're trying to cover for them, but I'm saying that they just don't want to do their job.
Shabbat shalom, everybody in the chat. That's messed up, man. You gonna have to go full vigilante on them.
It
You know,
sucks.
get your Batman on. That's messed up. It's all good though. You can't expect all of them to have you back. That's crazy. I'm gonna have to look deeper into that one. Doing an outstanding job, by the way, with all that, Gideon.
Thank you,
I know
brother
you
Josh.
already know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoa,
I know
brother
you
Josh
already know, but
without
it's
a
always good
black
to hear.
shirt is
Yes, sir.
crazy.
So what now?
Brother Josh without a black shirt is crazy.
Yeah, because it's Brother Josh representing the merch of my guy Ariel. This is another one y'all need to look at. I don't know if you were able to catch any of the Bible study we did on Thursday, Gideon, but Ariel, I'm helping him promote his merch. He's also known as the Prince of Positivity, right? I'll tell y'all about more of it later, but right now, he just got 2 books out. We'll talk about it more after the Sabbath. But yeah, I gotta represent. I already told you that, Gideon. I'm still waiting on the merch you're gonna send because I know you haven't got
I
yours
haven't
yet.
even got it yet either.
Exactly. So, once you get yours, I'm gonna be on here rocking for you too. I'm a walking billboard for my peeps. That's just what I do. Right? We got Kev J. Kev J. What's up, man?
Shabbat Shalom. How are you, brother?
Shabbat Shalom, man. Shabbat Shalom, man. Good to see you, man.
We putting in that
Good to see you.
overtime. We putting in that overtime. We still doing a great bill on that Old Testament read, man. Praise God for everybody that came out. Thank you all. It was great. Man, it be learning a lot. It's a lot of digging. And I just appreciate everybody that's coming up, man. It's great. So hey, man, it's been tough. My mother's in the hospital, so I might have to hop off a little early to go get her. But the brothers kept me up. Even the like guys last night between now and today with a great study, man. I really appreciate y'all. It's been tough. But hey, we're here, we're doing it, and man, the Lord is good, man. God is good.
Yes, indeed, man. And prayers up for your mother, right? Because you know that
Yes,
I know
sir.
and understand exactly what you going through. You follow what I'm saying? And if you have to get up out of here at any time to go tend to your mother, you do that, and we'll make do. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes,
We
sir.
all we all understand how that is. Like one of the classes I did on that, got to take care of your parents, man. Got to. That's not even optional. Got to do that,
Yeah, man.
right?
Hey, the older they get, the tougher it get. I'm just
Yep.
caution, caution.
The crazy thing is, see, when you get around my age and your age, right? When people get to talking to us, like especially people younger than us, a lot of people don't understand that, when you're around our age, that means we got parents in our 70s and 80s.
Yep, that's
You follow what I'm
facts.
saying?
Yep.
A lot,
My
a
mom's
lot of people don't
84, so
understand.
yeah, she's
Right.
she had me later. So since you put my age out there, they all know I'm older than most folks. So yeah, man, she's 84, so she had me late. She had me in her 30s. So yeah,
Right.
it's rough, man. It is what it is,
Better
though.
late than never.
Yes, sir.
Better late than never. You follow what I'm saying? Look at Charles Goodlow. He said hip hop's turned 80 today. 80 today. Right? You know,
All praises. All praises.
happy birthday to Charles Goodlow Senior. I'm just gonna assume that man dad's name Charles like him. I'm just gonna throw that on. That man ain't ever said he was junior, but I don't know his dad's name, so I just gonna say Charles Goodlow Senior. Just gonna get that man daddy a name. You know what I'm saying? But Mr. Goodlow, y'all know I keep it respectful with the parents, right? Jeff, what's going on, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you brothers doing?
We blessed, man. We blessed, man. I think Kevin J been setting you up though lately. I just want to let you know
Kevin
because
J.
when he do the Bible study on Wednesday, the Sabbath day inevitably falls on you to read.
No, he
You follow
called
what
me
I'm
out
saying?
last. He called me out last week. He was like, "Hey man, ain't I'm supposed to be reading?" I was like, "Nah, brother. I had did it through the week. I got it, man." But he act like he was like upset. So I was about to say, man, bro, you can have it if you want.
Hey, no, don't you do that. Don't you even
Wow,
try it. Don't you
that
even
is
try
messed
it.
up.
Don't
That
you
is
even
messed
try.
up.
He from
He
Chicago.
come
He
at you
got
like
that
that.
dog in him. So I was like, "You can have it, bro." You know what I'm saying? I'm from Central Jersey, man. I ain't about that life.
Wow, just wow. Y'all see what I got to deal with between just the two of them. Y'all see what I got to deal with? These brothers over here. I'm telling you, man. Love them to death, though, man. Those two of my big brothers right there, man. Love them to death. What's up with you, Keanu, on Discord? Say hey to the people on Discord. Make sure you good.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Can I be heard?
You are loud and clear, ma'am. Shout out to the the matriarch of the Simmons family. You follow what I'm saying? Representing also with the patriarch Tommy X, right? The dynamic duo of Bible study, Tommy and Keanu, right? They put in a lot of work for this ministry too. And one day I'm gonna do a class for y'all, God willing. I'm gonna call that bad boy putting in work, right? And it's gonna refer to work in and outside of the ministry, right? Because I don't think that's really been taught enough, right? Like hard work, putting in work. We got a lot of entitled people up in this piece. Yo, Gideon, is Nee anywhere near you? I just want to say hello to her if she is.
Not yet, no sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How we looking on YouTube and stuff? Cause
Oh,
if we good
everything's
at that,
going.
good to go there. We ready. All right. Could you go on mute right quick, Gideon?
Yes sir,
If you're gonna
yes
get
sir.
this thing started in, sir. Mm-hmm. I know y'all ain't used to seeing me in my red shirt, but see y'all, I understand that how this red just clashed with this beautiful dark skin. You know what I'm saying? You know, you gotta coordinate your colors. You know what I'm saying? If you light skin or white, don't wear no red. Wear something like royal blue. I'm serious. It's psychology. I'm gonna do a class. I told y'all in Bible study. I'm gonna do a class on the psychological effects of color one of these days for y'all. Right? I'm gonna do that for y'all so y'all can see. You know what I'm saying? Like your skin tone, whether you white, black, brown, whatever. You wear certain colors, it incites certain emotions in people. Oh yeah, it's that deep. Why you notice if you go to certain parts of the world, like the LGBTQ community, they think they got the whole rainbow thing on lockdown. Y'all see the way they dress, they wearing all these festive colors. And over here in the West, you can't rock something like that because people are gonna automatically affiliate you with them. But you go to other parts of the world, like the Caribbean and stuff like that, and certain parts of Africa, right? Man, people been wearing all these bright colors, even in like certain states, like in America, in Hawaii, right? People been wearing these bright colors. So, don't get discouraged by that, brother. Now, don't get it wrong. I ain't about to walk out wearing no rainbow shirt. Not over here. I go out the country, once I get that passport, and I might wear some different colors, but I just want to let y'all know all of this stuff is psychological. But we're gonna get off into this, man. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of The Absolute Truth. This is a Bible study that focuses on the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth concerning the Word of God, while leaving out all personal opinions, speculations, and beliefs. I'm Brother Joshua, and today reading from me is one of my all-time favorite readers. He is an absolute Bible Truth University graduate, a day one-ish member of Absolute Bible Truth Ministry, and a man who I just see as my spiritual big brother. This is the one, the only Brother Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Uh, Peace, my brother, and thanks for that introduction. And again, peace to the elders, teachers, and students at ABT. And like I always said, we could have been anywhere else but here, commemorating the Most High's sacred day, the Sabbath. And so all praises to the Most High that we can be here. And I hope everyone's edified by this class.
Praise God, Brother Jeff. Praise God. And of course, we appreciate you reading for us today and any and all input that you may have. And based on this one, yeah, you might have something to say about this one. And also in tow, backup reader, co-commentator. He is also an absolute Bible Truth University graduate. He teaches class every Sabbath, just like I do. So he puts in that work. He is also a guy who I also consider to be my spiritual big brother, although he let me think for the longest that he was my spiritual little brother, but I ain't gonna hold it against him. This is the one, the only brother Kevin J. Go ahead, bro.
I am spiritually 25. Thank
I like
you.
that. I like that. I like that.
I am spiritually 25. Thank you very
For sure.
much. Hey man, it's a
For
pleasure as
sure.
always, man. God bless all of the the teachers and the elders, man. Everyone at ABT, God bless y'all, man. It's obviously it's a blessing to help get out the word in any way, shape, or form I can, I'm always willing to help, as you already know, man. So thank you very much for hey, trusting in me to read without hurting myself. God bless you, brother. God bless you.
Oh, that's like a hidden, it's like a low key shot at somebody. But I'm not
Hey,
about to be a fraud and rip it up. I'm not gonna
that,
do it.
that's
That's all
my
I'm saying.
and Kev, I feel you on saying spiritually you feel 25, man. I
Yes,
listen
sir.
to 40-year-old people complain about aches and pains. I know y'all get on me about my back, but that's minimum, man. But I feel so great. So I feel you, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
How has that back been lately, by the way? Yeah. How has that back been?
I told y'all, man, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay.
real quick, I want to get into my own thing, but I didn't realize how much effect the treadmill had on my back. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but when I start switching to a bike, whatever, and just stretching, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'll let y'all
Yeah.
know what so y'all can get back on me.
Exercise wise, treadmill is hard on your joints and your back,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why most people recommend when you start, like, if you already have problems with your legs and if you got bad joints or whatever, they recommend that you don't walk on the treadmill as much, or the stairmaster, anything that requires you to put a lot of pressure down on your joints and on
Mm-hmm.
your legs. And you know how people say somebody is the backbone of the community or the backbone of the church. That comes from the concept that the backbone in the human body is literally the foundation
True
of
indeed.
everything. You follow what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with that. Don't put no unnecessary strain on that. And of
No.
course, we
Do
have
more circuits too. By the way, do more circuits, Jeff. That's what I do. I start running miles and I just start doing more intense circuits. See what I'm
There you,
saying?
there
So
you go.
that so your endurance stays up, your
Mm-hmm.
energy level stays up, your muscle texture stays up, but your
Mm-hmm.
knees are saved. So it's another way around it. Sorry about that, Just my bad.
No doubt,
oh,
brother.
it's cool. It's cool. You know, we got to get Jeff all the advice we can give him. You know what I mean? Because we don't need him to show up next week, man. My back. You know what I'm saying? My back. You know.
All right.
But it's all love, Jeff. You know, it's all love, man. We love you, bro. That's all we doing, right?
Most
And of
definitely.
course we got the matriarch once again. Also co-commentator, also reader. You know, I got to give Keanu a shout out because I be having her up here reading too, and I ain't never gave her credit for that. She up here reading too, you know. So introducing also Keanu, Sister Keanu. How you doing?
You know, I am blessed and so happy to have this Shabbat again. I look forward to it every week. It's my favorite day of the week. Not even just saying it, I'll be looking forward to my sleep. But W to RAR for suggesting this class.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And of course, a shout out to Brother Gideon for always providing a platform for us and just for the work he put in and outside of this ministry. Y'all don't understand how much low key work that Gideon does. The brother doesn't seek glory, he just seeks to please the Lord, right? And the title of today's class is Overcome Babylon, Overcome Sin. That's right, you heard correctly. Today's class is titled Overcome Babylon, Overcome Sin. And as Sister Keanu pointed out, the reason why I'm doing this particular lesson is because Brother Roar, y'all know him as Roar, has been for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, actually longer than that, been requesting that I do a class about overcoming sin. And he sent me some notes about 6 steps on how to overcome sin. And y'all know I don't do stuff quite in steps. Like when I try to tell people how to do stuff, that's more of Brother Ariel's forte, right? But I'm gonna try to do my best to incorporate all of the concepts that he asked me to cover when he requested this class. And I decided to also put my own little flavor in it too, my own little seasoning on it, because when you talk about overcoming sin in the Bible, what Christians have to understand is that to help us better understand how to overcome sin, God gives us analogies. He gives us metaphors. He gives us euphemisms. All of these are literary devices designed to help us better understand God. And I had already been thinking about doing something pertaining to Babylon. In fact, one of the last classes I did, where we ended in the book of Revelation, which we're going to go to in this class, was talking about Babylon, the spiritual system. And in the Bible, Babylon is used as a euphemism or a code word for sin. That's why this class is titled Overcome Babylon, Overcome Sin. But why use Babylon? There are other countries in the Bible that God uses to symbolize sin. Well, the reason why I use Babylon, because number one, Babylon is the most popular one for obvious reasons. It was once a literal, historical, world ruling empire, right? And number two, because of what Babylon means. So when you look at the word Babylon, and we're going to look it up, you're going to see what we have to do to overcome sin. And a lot of it just boils down to us separating from Babylon. And unfortunately, a lot of people took this concept quite literally. Christians, Israelites, they took this concept quite literally to the point where when the Bible talks about fleeing or departing out of Babylon, they have made Babylon be a literal country that they're in. And therefore, when the Bible says flee Babylon, they think it means run up out of any country you literally dwell in. That's not what it means. The most popular belief among Christians and Hebrew Israelites is that Babylon is America. If that were the case, which we're going to read, how can you flee from something that the Bible describes as the whole world? You'd have to leave the planet. And we know God ain't telling us to do that, although there are even some religious nuts that believe that's how you get from Babylon. Some spaceship gonna come and take you off the planet. You follow what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do today is show you, courtesy of Brother Roar's request, different ways you can overcome sin, but the foundational way you need to know to do it. You, in your mind, have to associate Babylon with this world, this wicked, evil, corrupt world we live in. And I'm letting y'all know right now, even though Roar requested this class and Roar kind of made it sound like, at least to me, that, he just wanted something just basic and something just straightforward, which is going to be, this is yet another meat class. Because this is something you're not going to hear every day. You're not going to hear how from the very beginning what Babylon symbolized and why that word Babylon is important. It plays a big role in what we have to do. So big, in fact, that Paul makes a reference to it. And of course, the book of Revelation does. So in order for us to understand Babylon, we got to first see where it is first mentioned in the Bible. That's what we have to do. Take it back to the beginning. And in another class, I'm going to show you how this original Babylon also foreshadows the Babylon we're in now and the one that's going to come in the future, or the one that we're in now, transitioning further to the one that's going to be in the future. So what we're going to do first, Jeff, is go to Genesis 11, and we're going to read verses 1 to 9. Genesis 11, verses 1 to 9. So make sure you pay attention to this one. Take notes, because you guys are going to deal with something that you don't hear every day. Babylon. And right now, the modern day Christian church, 95% of it is caught up in Babylon. They are caught up in Babylon. And that's the reason why when you try to show them stuff, they don't understand it. But you guys are going to see for yourself what we're dealing with here. It's going to get real deep. It's going to make sense, right? So Roar, no, he better be listening because this is the class he requested, right? This is Genesis 11, verses 1 to 9. When you get there, Jeff, read, please.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech.
So at one time in mankind's history, sisters and brothers, everybody spoke one language. There was no English, Spanish, French, Hebrew, Greek, none of that. It was just one language. We don't know what that language was. The Bible never says. But it was one. And y'all can already kind of see that we're getting back to that with these apps and stuff. They got an app right now. It's like a Bluetooth. You put the earpiece in, you hear somebody talking, it translates what they're saying into English or whatever language you speak in real time. Right? But we're already getting close to that right now. And it tells you in the book of Revelation that the Antichrist is going to have power over all tongues, meaning languages, meaning everybody's going to understand in their language and with each other that this is the man that rules the earth. But we'll deal with that another time. Continue, please.
Verse 2. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there.
And just a little side note, when you're reading in the Old Testament and you see Shinar, that's a reference to Babylon, right? But continue.
And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
So they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. So they're getting ready to build something. Let's see what they're going to build. Continue.
Verse 4. And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
Now it says, and they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower, whose top may reach unto heaven. See, when you build a real tall edifice, structure, building, it makes it easy for you to find your way back to whatever area this tall building is in. And it tells you that when it says, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the earth. So already they're showing some kind of rebellion because God, after the flood, told Noah's kids to be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth. In other words, when you're filling up the earth, you got to scatter out and spread out over it. See, a lot of people don't focus on that part of it. They focus on the replenish part. But how can you replenish the earth, the entire earth, if everybody is just congested in one spot? And that's what they were trying to do. So they're already showing some rebellion here, right? And then it said, let us make us a name. What do you think it means when it said, let us make us a name? It's the same thing it means today when we say we're trying to make a name for ourselves.
Reputation.
But this is an act of rebellion. Go ahead, Jeff. What you about to say?
No, I just said a reputation.
Right, or a reputation.
Yeah.
But these people are trying to make a name or reputation for themselves by defying God, by going against his commandment. So already y'all are seeing that this has echoes of wickedness that we still see today. That's why a lot of shows, a lot of movies, a lot of celebrities, they mock God. Y'all ever notice that? They mock God. This goes all the way back to Babylon, right? So already we're seeing this stuff. They want to make a name. Notice it said, let us make us a name. It's giving multiple reasons why they're building this tower. Let us make a name. And what would the name be? The name would be, or the reputation of defying God. Do everybody understand that? Or in other words, rebellion. That's what Babylon, sisters and brothers, is all about. Rebellion. Do everybody understand that before we continue? It's about rebellion. It's about defying God. Right? That's what it's about. But keep reading. Watch what else it says. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
And the Lord said, behold, the people is one. That means they are united, right? Which lets you know that unity in of itself is not necessarily a good thing. Because you'll hear a lot of people saying, we need to come together. We need to be unified. And yes, unity is a beautiful thing, but not in of itself. Because we can all be unified to do wickedness. It's going to be unity during the time when the Antichrist comes on the scene. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be united then. But he said, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. And this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. What this is saying is they're going to try to do everything possible and that they're going to lack restraint. Nothing will be restrained to them. See, that's also what Babylon is about. Lack of restraint. And y'all are already seeing a society that lacks restraint. That means self-control. That's why you see these gay pride parades. That's why you're seeing women, lesbian bishops in the Catholic Church. That's why you're seeing people doing all kinds of crazy things that you didn't even see 30 years ago. They're unrestrained. They have no temperance. That's what temperance means, self-control. See, Babylon today, sisters and brothers, is not a literal place. It's a spiritual mindset, and it's the wrong spirit. So when you talk about overcoming sin, you have to overcome Babylon. You have to overcome that mindset. And God saw this early on, right? Continue, please.
Verse 7. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
So God was the author of this confusion. Wait a minute, John just said God is not the author of confusion. He's not the author of confusion in the church.
Mm-hmm.
But God will confound the wicked all day, every day. You follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But he said, go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. And we're going to look up what these words mean in the Hebrew, because it may shock you, right? Read verse 8.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
See, in order to stop them from building this monument to rebellion, I want y'all to think about what I just said. A monument, a tower to rebellion, rebelling against God. In order to stop that, God made them not understand each other's speech. In other words, I'm working next to Jeff, and all of a sudden, God hits us with that confusion, and we're trying to build this tower. And I'm like, Jeff, I say in whatever language, Jeff, hand me a brick. And Jeff like, what'd you say? And I don't understand Jeff. And I'm like, what did you say? Right? Now take that and multiply that by like tens of thousands, and everybody is confused. So everybody just separated or scattered based on who all spoke the same languages after God, created all these different languages. And this is why even till this day, we have multiple languages. Now, of course, they weren't all back then. Scholars will tell you that when this happened, it created like 70 languages, 70, right? And of course, over time, if you study history, like my guy Duster does, you'll see that different dialects and different languages came out of other languages, right? That's how we got English today. That's why I laugh at people when people try to say things like, oh, the letter J didn't exist until the 1600s. That's why his name wasn't Jesus. Well, certain languages didn't even exist at all back then. Hebrew being one of them. Right? And as y'all can see from reading this, language is about one thing and one thing only: communication. That's what it's about. And communication refers to understanding. People say we lack communication. What they're really saying is we lack understanding. So that's what language is all about. So if you understand me or what I'm saying, you shouldn't be arguing against me. What's the problem? Do you know who I mean when I say Jesus? Because, sometimes people try to play dumb. I don't know who this Jesus is, Yahushua. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just another language, another transliteration of the name, right? But they try to play dumb. I don't know who Yahushua is. I don't know who that is. I don't know who Jesus is. Yes, you do. You know exactly who I'm talking about. Stop acting confounded. We call it today playing dumb, right? As long as you know I'm talking about the guy in what we know in our English Bibles as the New Testament, who died for our sins, you know who I'm talking about. Why am I bringing this out? So this is part of overcoming Babylon. Because there are people out here who really are confused. So we don't need you out here with them pretending like you're confused. We got enough real confused people as it is. And people try to play dumb. And they come up with these ridiculous arguments. Jesus comes from Zeus. No, it doesn't. Jesus comes from the Latin word meaning earth pig. No, it doesn't. This is stuff you can easily debunk. Now, I know to most of y'all who listening today as Christians, I probably never came across this, but y'all got to understand, Brother Josh come from a school of thought where I had to debunk all of this stuff almost on a weekly basis.
You got that right.
So consider yourselves blessed Christians that you never had to deal with this madness. Right? But now, after he did that, that made them stop building. Right? Now, what do I always tell y'all that Satan does, Jeff, when it comes to God? What does he always try to do?
Imitate him.
Imitate him. Right? So, how did God stop these wicked men from building, Jeff?
Confuse them.
So, how does Satan, copying God, try to stop Christians from building? Jeff?
He's thoroughly confused Christians.
Thoroughly confuse them. And confusion leads to division, separation, scattering. What do y'all see today? When you look at modern day Christianity, how many denominations is it? Many. But Paul said God is not the author of confusion in the church. So guess what, sisters and brothers? One way you have to overcome sin, Roar, is not be jumping all over to these different camps, listening to different people. This is what I was telling Roar on Wednesday night Bible study. Who was in there when I was telling him that? Anybody remember? When me and Roar was talking about this with Cash Caleb, and he was talking about those other people, and I told him that, if you want me to unconfuse you, you got to pay me because that's extra. Y'all remember that? So one way to overcome sin, Roar, remember you asked for this class, so I'm going to be mentioning your name quite a bit. One way to overcome sin is not get caught up in the confusion. And the confusion in Christianity is all of these different scattered churches. That's part of the confusion. Y'all see that? And that's why this class is important that Roar requested. Probably not what he expected, but he asked how. This is how. Right? So they stopped building and they separated. Jeff, and anybody else on stage and in the chat, what do y'all think it means, the word edify means?
To
What does
build.
edify mean? To build or to build up. Space said eat. No, that's edible.
I was going to
So I
say
can
him,
repeat it.
the
Right.
sister.
Edify. It means to build or to build up. Right? That's why you call a building an edifice. Words have meanings. That is the noun, edifice. That's the building itself. Edify is the acting of building the edifice. So what these people back here were doing, were trying to edify Satan. Do everybody understand that? Because they're rebelling against God. That's what Satan did. He rebelled against God. That's what Babylon is all about, rebelling against God. So they're building up Satan. How are they building up Satan, Josh? Because they're building a tower that symbolizes rebellion against God. And who is the number one symbol for rebellion against God, Jeff?
Satan.
So they were edifying Satan. That's why even today, over here in America and around the world, you see gigantic edifices. You see the Washington Monument. You see the Eiffel Tower. Y'all think, oh, that's just art, just brilliant buildings. No. All of these things have symbols. Statue of Liberty. Idolatry. Idolatry is also an act. This tower was also a type of idolatry. Idolatry in of itself means to rebel against God. See, we have to understand before I can teach anybody how to overcome sin, I have to introduce you to the world you were born into. Remember, I always tell y'all this. What y'all always hear me say? I don't blame anybody for this world being the way it is. We were born deceived. The world had already went to hell before we got here. Don't I always say that, Jeff, Kevin, Jay, Keanu, Gideon? Don't I always say that?
Yep, all the time.
Right? The problem is when y'all get born into this Babylonian system, nobody is telling you that you're living in a Babylonian system. Then they send you off to church and they don't even tell you, oh, this church been compromised for decades. Some of the churches y'all go to, and y'all take pride in this, have been in existence for 3 or 4 generations, like that particular church. Not the religion, because the religion is older. But that particular church, like, yo, my pastor, before he was pastoring this church, his daddy was, and before that, his granddaddy. So that church is 3 generations old. So when you come into the world, your parents seeing you off that church already been compromised. It's part of the Babylonian system. It has not separated from it. So how can you overcome sin, Jeff, in a world of sin? This is what they're not teaching you in church. The church is part of the Babylonian system. It's part of it. Right? Now read verse 9, and this is where it's going to start to get a little deep. Read verse 9.
Genesis chapter 11, verse 9. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
It said, therefore is the name of it called Babel. That's the Hebrew transliteration of pronouncing it. The Greek transliteration of pronouncing it is Babylon. And in the King James Version Bible, it uses Babylon both in the Old and New Testament. Right? But it said, therefore, the name of it is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth. Now it's telling you why it was called Babel, because there the Lord did confound the language of all the earth, and from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth. So when you're dealing with Babylon or Babel, the way you can tell if you're dealing with somebody who's been compromised, or an organization that's been compromised, or a religion that has been compromised by this Babylonian system, just look for a bunch of scattering, a bunch of division. What do we see, Jeff, when we look at modern day Christianity? What do we see?
A lot of division and confusion, and
A lot of division and confusion, and what else?
Argumentative attitude, not looking to be
an
edified.
Argumentative attitude.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? Now, what does edify mean, Jeff?
Build.
Build up. Jeff, what is the opposite of building up?
Tear down or destroy.
Tearing down. What do y'all see most people do as Christians when they go on social media with other Christians? What are they doing? Are they edifying each other, or are they trying to tear each other down?
They're trying to tear each other down.
When they come up in here, like the guy we had come up in here on Wednesday night Bible study, who I got to confess that he's a liar. Y'all remember that? The guy named Jay. A lot of y'all probably missed out on that. Got him to confess he was a liar. What was he in here trying to do to the Bible study when he just kept on posting in the chat, straw man, straw man? Was he here to edify, build up, or was he here to tear down?
No, he
Tear
was here
down.
to tear down, and then admitted he was a liar.
He admitted he's a liar. He was here to tear down. Right? So the clues that you have that you're a part of the Babylonian system, or if you're caught up in it, is you're going to see a lot of division, and you're going to see a lot of the opposite of edifying. You're going to see a lot of people trying to tear down, destroy. So in order for you to overcome sin, one thing you have to do is get away from any religion, any organization that's divided, that's broken into pieces, that's scattered abroad, and that always focuses on tearing down. What religious system today fits that more than modern day Christianity? Do y'all understand what we're getting at here? Did y'all pastors ever tell y'all this about Babylon? Tell me in the chat. Did your pastors ever tell you about this? I want to know. No, they did not. You know why? Because they're caught up in Babylon. How are you going to overcome Babylon when you're being taught Babylon? How are you going to overcome sin when you're part of a sinful institution, a sinful system? Somebody in the chat said, mine did, in the name of Jesus. Well, they taught you that while you got that idolatrous thumbnail. See, don't try to cap. Don't try to cap. You got that idolatrous thumbnail. That is not Jesus. Jesus is never described that way in the Bible. See, I mean, I'm gonna check y'all out if y'all try to play holier than thou, or I know up in here. Why your pastor didn't teach you that? John, son of God. He goes, I don't pray to this image. Why you got it?
Wow.
You probably wear Nikes that you don't pray to, but you wear them. You told them look it up, man. Get out of here, man. Don't see. Yeah, see, it always got to be somebody in the crowd to try to act like they the standout kid. Take that fake, non-historic, non-biblical image of Jesus off your thumbnail, then we'll talk. See, try to tell you, man, don't do that. Don't see. He just could have just listened and just said, no, my pastor did. He's promoting the confusion. That's confusion right now. That's an idol. Because I don't pray to it. Then why you got the idol? If you don't pray to an idol, why do you have it? That's what I want to know. Y'all see what I'm saying? I'm just telling y'all, man. See, don't try to come up here trying to pretend. You follow what I'm saying? Don't try to come here trying to pretend. Or joke, because I'm going to pull it out. Only person ignorant is you wearing that image. Watch this, y'all. I'm going to give him a little test. This for you, Roar. Where did that image of Jesus come from? Who was it modeled after? Because it ain't biblical. Where did that image come from? Tell me that, and I'll take it all back what I said about you. Don't nobody in the chat help him. I'm asking him. Where did that image come from? Can you tell me that? Waiting. I told y'all, don't nobody help him. Let him answer his face. Don't nobody help him. Because you don't use that image. So where did it come from? He told me not to be ignorant, meaning don't lack knowledge. The Buddy Christ image originated. Kevin Smith, Catholicism. This campaign is depicted as an attempt to make the church more. I'm not talking about the Buddy Christ image. That is a variation of the images of Christ that we see. I'm not talking about the Buddy Christ. See, now he's trying to pretend like he don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the thumbs up variation of that. I'm talking about the actual image that is based off of. Where did that come from? I'm going to show y'all that he don't know how to overcome Babylon. So that's an image of Babylon right there. Exactly. You don't know what I'm talking about. Do everybody see that? See? He said he don't know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what somebody's talking about, what do you call that, y'all? What do we call that?
Ignorant?
What? No. Not quite. Huh? There's another word. We've been using it in this class. Confused. See? That's confusion. That's another word for it. If I be like, Jeff, what happened to that you walking my dog that like you promised me you were gonna do? Jeff, what you gonna say to me if I just said that to you one day in front of the whole class? What would you say to me, Jeff?
Like, what you talking about?
What are you talking about? You confused. Like, when did you tell me that? Josh, you don't even got a dog. See, confusion, sisters and brothers, is a symptom of Babylon. That's a symptom of Babylon. Like, you don't even know where the stuff came from that you promote or why you're doing it. Is that confusion, y'all? Don't that sound like confusion, y'all? You're doing something, you don't know why you're doing it or when it started. Is that not confusion? That's confusion. Somebody said, I don't know what you're talking about. Exactly. That's my point. So, just like when they were building the Tower of Babel and God confounded the language, and I said, Jeff, hand me a brick. Jeff was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do y'all see how that goes? Does everybody get that? I don't know what you're talking about. Ain't that what you say to somebody and they speaking a different language and they trying to tell you something and you just sitting there like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're trying to say. Ain't that what we say?
Right.
He just proved my point. Confusion. Don't even know where that image came from. You just got it up. So I want y'all to pay attention to this. This is how you overcome sin. You can't be confused about the God you serve. You can't be confused about the God you serve. Well, let me show y'all something. What we're going to do is we're going to look at the word translated Babel or Babel in this verse, in verse 9. And that is 894 in the Hebrew language. Bro, tomorrow his pastor taught him that. He come in with that fake image of Jesus. Come on. You still confused, bro. See, I don't got a problem with people making claims. No, I really don't. I'm not going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. But if you make a claim and I'm just looking at your thumbnail and your thumbnail alone lets me know you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to put you out there. If you're going to put yourself out there, you better know what you're talking about. That's all I'm saying. Because we got too many people saying, look at me, and then, okay, I'm going to look at you. But I'm going to do more than look at you. I'm going to examine you. But this is the word translated Babel or Babel. 1101 in the Hebrew section of the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance. And the word is, let me pull this out right here. Hold on a second. There we go. And it's 894 in the Hebrew section. We're going to go to 1101 afterward. It's 894 in the Hebrew section. And the word is Babel. Babel. And it says from Hebrew 1101, and it means confusion, as I've been telling y'all. Babel or Babel, that is Babylon, including Babylonia and the Babylonian Empire. Babel, Babylon. But look what it comes from, and the root word is the key. This is 1101 in the Hebrew section. You just click on that, and it'll tell you what this is, right? Or just highlight it. And it comes from the Hebrew word balal, balal, and it says a primitive root to overflow, specifically with oil, by implication to mix. Mix. Right? Why is it that the word for confusion comes from a Hebrew word, Jeff, that means to mix? First of all, Jeff, what does it mean to mix something? Like mix something together. What does that mean?
It's supposed to mean to combine.
Combine or mixing together, right? This is where we get our modern day terminology from. We say, you're all mixed up. Y'all have heard somebody say that, man, he's all mixed up, which means confused. But this goes back to the actual meaning of mixing something together. So Babylon at its roots, on the surface, is confusion. On the root is, and at its root, it's telling you confusion comes from mixing things together that don't go together. I'm going to show y'all that. That's where it comes from. You're mixing things that don't go together. You're joining things together that don't go together. This is why I can say homosexuals are confused. They're trying to mix two things together that don't go together. Penises don't go with penises, and vaginas don't go with vaginas. You're mixed up. And the way you can tell if somebody is mixed up is because the mixture prevents building. That's how you can tell. How do you know you're mixed up as a homosexual, that two things don't go together? Because you can't build any more children from that.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all understand? Two penises don't understand each other. Two vaginas don't understand each other. But a penis and vagina, they understand, okay, time to build a baby. See, it's real basic. When you get on a real primitive level like that, that's the truth, though, ain't it? I know you're mixed up. You can't build anything with it. It stops there. You ever heard somebody say, oh, we're going to build a family? Y'all ever heard somebody say that before, Jeff?
No doubt.
We're going to build a family. How can you build a family with two men? We ain't talking about no adoption and none of that crap. We talking about the natural way. And there's nothing wrong with adopting kids. I'm just talking about, in general sense, how do you do that with two men? You can't. How you do it with two women? You can't. Wow. 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 That's confusion. That's Babylon. You follow what I'm saying? That's how you overcome sin. You can't be mixed up. And a lot of people are mixed up, Gideon. A lot of people are mixed up, Roar. I can't teach nobody how to overcome sin, Roar, unless I unconfuse them. So if you want to overcome Babylon, overcome sin, you can't be mixed up or mixed in with Babylon. See, words have meaning. I keep telling y'all that. They have meaning. That's where we get this word from. Y'all mixed up. But let's move on. We're going to look up the word translated confound in this verse because it said the Lord confounded their language. Y'all remember that? It says, therefore, is the name of it called Babylon because the Lord did confound. And guess what word is there? That same word, Balal. So it's making an association between Balal and Babel, right? Babel comes from the root word translated confound in this verse. So it's associating confusion with being mixed up. It's not saying things that mix in general are sinful. We're talking about mixing things that are not meant to be mixed. Do everybody understand that? And what does Christianity do? They mix paganism with the word of God. That's Babylon. Do y'all understand that? You ask them about Christmas. Where did Christmas come from? What they got to do with the birth of Christ? What are these trees and Santa Claus and all that? I don't know. Oh, so you're confused about where all this stuff come from. You're mixed up. And when people get mixed up, you're mixed in. So they're mixing it all up. When you get mixed up, y'all, write this down, remember it. When you get mixed up, you end up mixing in. And that's what's going on. This is how you overcome sin. You got to get unmixed up. I can't tell them, Roar, how to overcome sin until I let them know that you were born mixed up. And it's not your fault. It's not. You were taught confusion from birth. That's what it is. Let's move on. Let's go to Psalm 106. I want them to overcome, Jeff. You with me, Roar, so far? It making sense yet? Roar? I hope it is. You got to start calling this world what it is. This entire wicked worldly system, that's Babylon. It's confused and it's mixed up. Right? That's what it is. That's why when the brother came here and talks, my pastor told me this, then what? If your pastor told you, you don't see nobody who been at ABT with that image of Jesus as a thumbnail. If they've been here for a minute, you don't see nobody like that. You know why? Because if they didn't know it before they started listening to me, I told them. Don't come over all arrogant with your chest out. Well, my pastor told me. Then what you doing with that image on of Jesus? I know about the buddy thumbs up, we smiling, but that's a variation of an image that is used worldwide and taken seriously. People walking around right now think that's Jesus. I can go to any race in America, 10-year-old kid, 8-year-old kid, showing this picture, say who it is, they're going to say Jesus. But that's not Jesus. He's not described that way in the Bible. And we don't supposed to have any images of him anyway. So they're confused. But who taught them that? Their parents. Why? Because their parents are confused. And you got a bunch of confused parents confusing their kids. And then, unfortunately, their confused kids come my way. And then I unconfuse them. And then they go back to their parents with the unconfusion. And their parents get mad and try to confuse them all over again. That's why it's hard if you listen to this ministry and take it seriously and you're underage. You about to say something, Jeff?
Not at all. Well, one thing I will say, just back, one thing I don't understand is, like you were saying about his pastor told him, I don't understand how you go sit with a group of people you don't have the same belief system in. If you really believe that you got the truth and you're convicted that this is the way you're walking, start your own class, or just go with your group. I mean, I'm not going to sit in a Hebrew Israelite, a Jehovah's Witness, or none of that stuff. I'm not going to sit in their audience, man, because I know the doctrine's off. But that's all I wanted to say.
But think about this, Jeff. If you've seen a guy doing exactly that, sitting in a group that they don't agree with, isn't that confusing?
It's very confusing.
Do y'all see that? See, words have meaning. See, if it doesn't make sense, it's confusing. If you can't explain it or don't understand it, it's confusing. See, we think that confusing just simply meant somebody did something to us. Like you said, I'm confused. Confused don't just mean a state of mind that comes from somebody mixing you up. Confused also is just another word for ignorance. Like, I don't understand, right? I'm not getting this. This doesn't make any sense to me. So in order for you to overcome sin, guess what else you got to overcome, Roar? Confusion. In other words, you got to understand what sin even is to overcome it. Every Christian listening right now in the world will tell you, yes, you have to overcome sin, but most of them don't even know what sin is. The New Testament describes sin In 1 John, he says, whosoever sin transgresses the law, for sin is this is the biblical definition of sin. For sin is the transgression of the law. But they say the law is done away with. So if the law is done away with, how do we define what sin is? And if we can't define what sin is, we're confused. And I know they're confused. That's why they got idols everywhere. Because you don't know what sin is. A lot of people don't know. See, it's a lot of people walking around in the church today. They don't know what sin is.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. That's why they're doing it. If a lot of people knew, I believe, they wouldn't be doing it. But they're confused. They don't know what sin is. That's why you have to define it. Your Bible is here to define what sin is. So you can know it, recognize it, and not do it. That's why they got talking about, I don't worship it. But why is it a thumbnail then? I don't worship the Tower of Babel from back in the day, y'all. I don't worship the tower, but I'm just gonna wear an image of it on my robe. Why would I wear a symbol of confusion? That's confusing right there. Do y'all see what I'm trying to get y'all to understand? I can't even, and I didn't tell Roar this, but I'm letting y'all know this now, along with Roar. I can't teach Christians how to overcome sin without first letting them know they're confused about what sin even is. Anybody can jump up here and say, man, we need to overcome sin. Yeah, I agree. Now, what is sin? Lawlessness. Okay, so that means no law. But y'all say we don't need no law. So are we under sin now? I don't get it, y'all. That's confusing. This is how you overcome sin, y'all. First, you have to understand and admit that you were born in a world of confusion. First, you got to be humble enough to admit that. You got to get on your knees, put your head to the ground, and say to God, I understand that it was already jacked up when I got here. Right? And God knows that. Can you clear some stuff up, Father? In Jesus' name. Can you do that? Or Yahushua's name, whatever name you use, he know who you're talking about. See, God ain't confused. We confused. But God not. He know who we mean. Right? Can you clear some stuff up for me? Because I'm confused. Right? And a lot of people come over here, y'all. They're not trying to edify us. They're trying to tear us down with more confusion. Right? Let's move on. Psalm, like I said, 106. See, they mixed in. We got to mix out. Y'all understand what I'm saying? To overcome, we got to mix out. Right? We're mixed. Another way we use that word, like Jeff, you might say, yo, how did you get mixed up in all of this, Josh? Y'all know what that means when you say it like that? That don't mean confusion. Mm-hmm. What does that mean, y'all? Somebody in the chat tell me when you use it that way. Say, Jeff, how did you get mixed up in all of this mess? What do I really mean? Not caught up.
There was
not united. Involved. That's the word I was looking for. Let me click on this person's name because I can't see their name. Janice. That's what it means. Involved. Sister Janice. She's been around with ABT for a minute too. Y'all notice that? How did you get mixed up in all of this? That means involved. Words have meaning. Are y'all starting to see that mixed up, confused? Mixed up, putting things together that don't go together. That's why we say mismatch. That's MISS, but it's the same thing. Mixed up. Yes, sir. Mhm. Mhm. Mm. Because somebody got mixed up into something, right, Gideon? Yeah, do y'all see before we read this how words have meaning? The way I teach, I don't just teach like a pastor, I teach like a teacher, a school teacher. We use a lot of words and we don't think about what we're saying. I want you to think about and understand every single word that comes out of your mouth. Know what everything means. Understand where the saying comes from, why we say that, why they say looking for smoke. Because when you shoot a gun, the barrel be smoking. You follow what I'm saying? Like, understand the origin of everything you say. And we say a lot of stuff and we don't know where it comes from. We know what it means, but we don't even connect the dots. So check this out. This is 106, 6 to 7. Watch this now. Because remember, mixed up. Put this in the chat. Take a note. Mixed up in means getting involved. But notice they use the word mixed up in. Why they say, how did you get mixed up in this? This implies you don't belong in it. Because remember, when you mix it up, it's two things in that context that don't go together. So if I say, Jeff, how did you get mixed up in this madness? That's implying to Jeff that I think he had no business getting involved in the first place. Doesn't it, Jeff, if I say that?
Most definitely.
You know, like if something is going on between Jeff and his wife, I'm not gonna be like, Jeff, how did you get mixed up with your wife? Like, what are you talking about, Josh? That's my wife, you know? I'm supposed to be with her, right? But if Jeff was messing with a woman on the side, and he's not, just in case Mrs. Adair is listening, he's not. But if he was, and then he came to me, I'm like, Jeff, how did you get mixed up with this other woman in the first place? I'm implying that was something that he was not supposed to do. But I use the word mixed up, which implies he mixed with something he was not supposed to mix with. Check this out. Psalms 106, 6 to 7. Read that, please. This is talking about when the children of Israel was in the wilderness and just their history and all the stuff they were doing. They were provoking God and all that. Go ahead and read.
Psalm 106, verse 6. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly.
Mm-hmm.
Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies, but provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea.
I just had him read these two verses to give y'all some context so y'all can know what time period this is talking about. Children of Israel in the wilderness, crossing the Red Sea when they came out of Egypt, right? Now, skip down and read verses 34 and 35. Let's see where else they dropped the ball at, Jeff.
Right. Psalm 106:34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them.
So they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded. That's those 7 Canaanite nations. You can read about them in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 1. Just start at verse 1, right? Continue.
But were mingled among the heathen and learned their works.
But were mingled among the heathen. Heathen means nations. And did what after they mingled among the heathen, Jeff? What did it say they did?
That they learned their works.
They learned their works. What kind of works did they learn from these wicked Canaanite nations, Jeff? Were they good or evil works?
They picked up their traditions and their customs, which were evil works and against the Lord.
Traditions and their customs, which were evil works. But how did they do it? By mingling with them. What does it mean to mingle with somebody, Jeff? Or a people?
That would be the same thing as mix.
Mixing them. But that's what the root of confusion is for Babylon. Mixing with people and picking up their sinful habits and ways. You want to overcome sin, Roar? You can't be mingling with sinners. That's Babylon. In fact, anytime somebody does something that's confusing in a sinful way, you just say, yo, bro, that's Babylon. Oh, they're homosexuals, man. That's Babylon. They're lesbians. It's Babylon. That's confusing. By mixing two things that don't go together. Two men don't go together. God shows you that. Y'all can call me vulgar or you can call me perverted. That's two things that these two, he's showing you, they bump. You can see they don't go together. They bump. That's common sense. These two, see how they don't go together? They bump. These go together. God made it real simple. There's nothing confusing about it. A man cannot get another man pregnant. A woman cannot get another woman pregnant. This is simple stuff, but it's confusing. That's why you got people today saying, I identify as a man. I identify as a woman. You are a woman and you're saying you identify as a man. You are confused. That's Babylon. You're mixed up. If I am a man and I walk into a woman's bathroom thinking that I'm a woman, I am mixed up. I am confused. This is Babylon. That's why you see all these people talking some, I identify as. Y'all see these Christians going out asking these weirdos, what is a woman? A woman is anybody that identify as a woman. That is Babylon. That is confusion. How confused do you got to be as a woman to not know you are a woman after you hit puberty? You get a 28-day reminder every month, so you get confused. You know what I'm saying? How do you get confused? Y'all tell me that, so maybe y'all can help me understand that. Because as a man, we don't get a monthly visitor. Still ain't no excuse for us to be confused. But y'all get a physical reminder every month that you are a woman. So God made sure women know what time it is. And even before that show up, give you a warning of that reminder. You get the cramps, you get tired or whatever. It varies from woman to woman, but y'all know what I'm talking about. How the heck you confused? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm a woman or not. Wait 28 days. No matter who you are. And when I ask you that, if you're still in that part of time in the world, I mean, in your life where you can still do that, within 28 days, you're going to have one. If you just got off, 28 days, you're going to have another one. If it's 15 days away, 28 days, you're going to have another. And then he makes it happen for 3 to 7 days. It varies from woman to woman. So you mean to tell me you confused on your womanhood? You get a monthly visitor every month, and then it sticks around for 3 to 7 days, and you still don't know who you are? You mixed up. If you really think you are a man as a woman, then here's a challenge for you. Throw away all your tampons and maxi pads. Throw them away. See, when you start talking like that, now they don't like that, but that's real. If you see, I don't need that stuff. I can walk around. I don't got to buy no tampon. I'm good. And I'm not knocking any woman for doing it. That's from God. You know, that's part of being a man. You know, and part of being a woman, I mean, right? I'm not knocking that. Right? But if you really believe you are, that's what y'all tell any of these sisters out here, Charles, I identify as a man, yo, throw away all your tampons and maxi pads. Throw them all away. Don't ever do them. And just walk around. You know, consider, you know, the shower and, you know, be hygienic. Just throw them away. See how long you sit there before somebody be like, what's that running down your leg? It's a shame that I even got to get this graphic and basic. But this is Babylon. This is Babylon. If you think you're a man like me, let's play the 28 weight game. That's what I like to call it. 28 weight. Put that in the chat. 28 weight. I mean, we're going to wait 28 days and see who bleed first. Let's see who do that. You are not a man. You are a woman. And being a woman is a beautiful thing. And yes, everything that comes with it. Yeah. She don't even need no baby picture. I got one better for you, Gideon. Just tell her to take an x-ray. The female skeletal system is different from the male skeletal system. See, that's how y'all need to be. That's how y'all need to be raising these girls up. Like, hey, baby, let's go get these x-rays. Let's go get these x-rays. You follow what I'm saying? They got the same amount of ribs we do, but down there in the pelvic region, y'all can go online and Google this. Look at the pelvic region. There's a big difference in the pelvic region between men and women in the skeletal system. Look at it. That's why you got to date. That's why you got to date a woman for more than a month, bro. You got to put in at least 2. I'm telling y'all the truth. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, they can fool anybody. They can. But this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. There are ways to do it. If you dating her, be like, yo, give it at least 2 months. Why I say 2? Because when you first start dating her, she could be just coming off her cycle. I want 2 months. And trust me, women will tell you when they're on their cycle. They might not come out and just be like, I'm on my period, but they're gonna throw you some kind of sign to let you know, like, I'm cramping today or I'm feeling that. Most of these guys who trying to fake it, they ain't thought ahead of it like that. Like, dang, baby, we've been dating for 5 months and you ain't ever once complained about no cramps, no headache, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? So let me just take this time right now to thank God Almighty for the woman cycle. Because that is proof positive that that's a woman. Y'all understand what I'm saying? That's proof positive. You can't fake that. Right? But them x-rays don't lie either. Look at that pelvic region. Y'all do some research on this stuff. You know, Brother Josh don't just go biblical. He get scientific, linguistic, biological. I'll do whatever it needs for y'all, make y'all understand it. That's Babylon. If you don't know if you are a man or a woman in this day and age, you are Babylon. That's Babylon. I ain't ever forgot that I was a man. Same thing with my fellas. I'm telling y'all the truth. You know what I'm saying? We don't woke up before in the morning. We're having no perverted dreams or nothing. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Didn't have no wet dreams or nothing like that. Just woke up in the morning and, you know, we was at attention. Y'all know what I mean when I say that. I ain't got to get all graphic with it. You just attention. You know what I'm saying? It was up before you was up. It was up before you was up. You know, if you woke up with it, it had to be up before you. Right? So if you ever forget as a man, I wonder if I'm a man. Oh, yeah, I'm a man. See, God do this for us, y'all. God do this for us. See, y'all laughing at me, but be honest. If you ever forgot and you woke up like that, wouldn't you remember? Wouldn't you remember? Tell the truth, y'all. Tell me, Jeff, am I lying? If you ever forgot, like you just got amnesia and forgot your gender, and you woke up and you saw that, you're like, yeah, that's what I am.
There it is.
There it is, right now. Why are we playing, y'all? That's confusion. You know what I'm saying? Look at Brother Chat. Joy cometh in the morning. Indeed. But let's move on. Let's move on. I'm going to make y'all understand it. Let's go to Isaiah 52. He's acting all stupid and stuff. I wish my son would have came to me when he was an 8 or 9 year old. Dad, I think I'm a girl. You think you're a girl? Go stand in front of that toilet and pee. Go do that. Don't play games with me. We trying to act. But they really are mixed up, though, because these people are mentally ill, right? That's Babylon. Now, Roar, how in the world, I'm just asking Roar this, how in the world I'm going to teach people to overcome sin when they confused about being a man or a woman? It's the most basic stuff in creation. You get up every morning. I mean, think about it. How confused you got to be every time you use the bathroom or take a bath, you see your privates. Confused you got to be as a woman to look down there and see what's between your legs and be like, I don't know if I'm a woman or not. You don't know what that is? See, the only way that makes sense to me, Jeff, is if you don't know what a penis and a vagina is. That's the only thing that's the only way that's confusing to me if you don't know that. But if you know what those are and you know what goes on what, how are you confused? That's Babylon. See, you got to unconfuse these people first. We got to get back to the basics. We're living in a world where people are confused about just their gender, their sex. Imagine Roar trying to go to one of these type of people saying, you need to come up out of your sin. I'm like, come out of my sin? Well, that makes sense, Brother Roar. What I got to do? Because I'm a guy, but I identify as a woman. Now, Roar got to get past that with them. He got to first let them know they confused. You see what I'm saying? We need to be telling people this is confusion. Confusion equals sin. Y'all understand that? Confusion equals sin. Gideon Dust said, Pearl said that something going on with YouTube, so I disappeared on YouTube. Just make sure it's still okay. But check this out. This is Isaiah 52. We got to come up out of this confusion, out of this mixing. We're mixed up. He said they mixed with the nations and learned their evil ways. So if you want to overcome Babylon, overcome sin, what do you got to do? You got to stop mixing with the wicked people in this world and learning their ways. Does that make sense to everybody before we move on?
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. Stop mixing with them. Because that is the root of confusion. Mixing with people you're not supposed to mix with. Not all mixing is wrong. Just the kind that don't supposed to mix. That's why you're all mixed up. We're not supposed to be that way. That's how you overcome Babylon. Unmix yourself. Mix out. Don't mix in, mix out. You have people saying that too. Even in slang or urban language, what we say, man, you all up in the mix. You ever heard somebody say that before, Jeff? Kevin J?
Yes.
Anybody in the chat? Gideon? I don't know if y'all still use that kind of slang. We did use that slang when I was growing up. And you all up in the mix. Like, we don't supposed to do that. No. Right? This is Isaiah 52, 1 and 2, and then we're going to skip. Just give you some context. Go ahead and read.
Isaiah chapter 52, verse 1. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall be no more coming to thee the uncircumcised and the unclean.
And this is referring to when the children of Israel, particularly the southern kingdom of Jerusalem, was getting ready to leave Babylon and go back to Jerusalem to rebuild it after it had been destroyed like 70 years earlier by Nebuchadnezzar, right? So he's telling them to awake. They're coming up out of Babylon, ancient, literal Babylon. But it's going to foreshadow something, right? Read, please, verse 2.
Verse 2. Shake thyself from the dust. Arise and sit down, O Jerusalem. Loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion.
So he said, shake thyself from the dust. Arise and sit up. Why does he say shake yourself from the dust? Because he had brought them so low to the dirt. They was all covered with dust. So he's telling you to get up, dust yourself off. That's all he really saying, dust yourself off, right? Arise and sit up, O Jerusalem, loose thyself from the bands of thy neck, O captive daughter of Zion, referring to them being in captivity, right? But now skip down, if you will, Jeff, and read verses 9 to 12, because this is related to something else Roar asked me to put in about the singing. Is Roar still even in here, by the way?
He's the
Roar,
one
are you still there?
He has your face as a thumbnail, right? R-A-R.
Oh, that's why you don't switch to my face. Okay, that's Roar. Right? Now, Roar, do you remember the one you put in about the singing and the hymns? Remember that, Roar? This is associated with coming out, overcoming sin, coming out, right? Go ahead and read.
Isaiah 52, verse 9. Break forth into joy, sing together, ye waste places of Jerusalem, for the Lord hath comforted his people. He hath redeemed Jerusalem.
Have y'all noticed that coming out of Babylon for them is associated with them singing for joy? See, that's part of it too. See, when you overcome sin, when you overcome Babylon, it's going to be associated with that joy singing, right? And notice he called them the captive daughter. So Babylon is associated with slavery, captivity. This is why Paul talked about the bondage of sin. Bondage means slavery. So when you overcome the world, you are overcoming a spiritual slavery. Right now, the majority of the world is in slavery, a spiritual slavery. Do y'all understand that?
Mm-hmm.
When you mix out, you're supposed to sing for joy. That singing is a symbolism, of your freedom. It's a symbol of your freedom. Right? Singing these hymns. Yes. Continue, please. Watch what else it says.
Verse 10. The Lord hath made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our God.
And that salvation is referring to the children of Israel being saved from ancient Babylonian captivity. But a lot of this foreshadows what's going to be done in the future, right? Read verse 11, and that's the key. Read that one.
Depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out of the midst of her. Be ye clean, that bear the vessels of the Lord.
Now, notice what God is telling the children of Israel, the Jews. When you leave up out of Babylon, he said, depart ye, saying it twice. Saying it twice represents emphasis. It's like saying, hurry up, right? Depart ye, go ye out from thence. Get out of there. Touch no unclean thing. Get ye out of the midst of her, meaning the middle. But notice he said, on your way out, don't touch any unclean thing. Referring to their idols, their abominations. See, when you overcoming sin, right? Overcoming Babylon, you can't touch any unclean thing. And then he also said, be ye clean, and that bear the vessels of the Lord. This is talking about the Levites, because the vessels of the Lord was like the holy things that were in the temple, right? Specifically like the cups and stuff like that. He told you that bear the vessels of the Lord. So when you're overcoming sin, I'm going to show you that Paul used this same verse for Christians. He made a reference back to this same verse for us overcoming sin. This is Babylon that we're in, y'all. Y'all need to understand this. You are in Babylon right now. You are in this spiritual system of Babylon. It means confusion. You can't look at this world right now and see that people are confused.
Confused, yes.
It's more confusing now than ever. You don't even know what bathroom to go in. When I was growing up, 5 years old, kindergarten, we knew boys go to the boys' restroom, girls go to the girls' restroom. It was not that deep. It was not worth a 3-hour discussion like y'all see. These people are confused. How does a little child get confused about his or her gender? Because the mother and the father are confusing them. Society is confusing them. Their school teachers are confusing them. You send your child to school and you got a teacher in there who's a man dressed like a woman, or vice versa. That's why in the Bible, it tells you that men don't supposed to wear women's clothing and women are not supposed to wear men's clothing. Why? That's confusing. That's mixed up. The two don't go together. Men don't belong in women's clothes. Women don't belong in men's clothes. How can I overcome sin when nobody's even telling the people this is sin? Take off that dress. You are not a woman. And they push this stuff. And confusion has become so normal that when you speak out against the confusion, people say you're confused. People say something wrong with you. But we need to start calling stuff what it is. Babylon. That's what y'all tell them. Gay pride parade, Babylon. Cross dressing, Babylon. All that stuff about I identify as this, gender fluid and all that stuff, Babylon, Babylon, Babylon. Just tell them that's Babylon. That's confusion. You're mixed up. You're trying to mix two things together that don't go together. Then once I unconfuse you, then it's time for you to get up out of it. And don't you touch any unclean thing on your way out. See, when you why do you mean? What do you think he meant when he said, "Don't touch any unclean thing"? Do you think God meant that as they're walking out, don't stop and touch this and stop and touch that? No, he meant don't take it with you. Don't even touch it. Keep moving. That's what we're supposed to do to overcome sin. A lot of y'all will never overcome sin because you want to keep getting in the mix with sinners. You want to keep getting mixed up with them. That's why you will never overcome sin. You want to confuse yourselves. You want to listen to 5, 6, 10 different Christian pastors that disagree with each other. And then you want to come over here and you want me to unconfuse you. How does that work? You confuse yourself and then you want me to unconfuse you. You go over there, hey, Brother Josh, they teach this over there, but that goes against what you teach, or vice versa. Can you explain this to me? No. Stop jumping all over the place. Get in one place and sit down. You're confusing yourself. How do I know you're confusing yourself? Because you don't know who to believe. You don't know who's right. That's confusion, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
You follow what I'm saying? I've had to tell many people this over the years. They study with me, then they go out and hear somebody else say something, and I got to clear up the confusion they got between what I said versus what they said. So you go looking for Babylon, but you want me to destroy Babylon for you. Destroy your confusion. Right? That's not what I'm supposed to do. My job is to confuse you coming in confused. I'm supposed to unconfuse that if you come in confused. Not that you keep going out looking for confusion and you come back over here, oh, I need you to show me. Oh, no. At least if you're in one side, you're consistent. Christianity is confusing enough as it is. 40,000 plus denominations. You ain't finna tell me these people aren't confused. They're scattered all over the place. They're divided. That's confusion, y'all. How can anybody look at this and not see these people are confused? How can anybody see that and not say these people are confused? And then they come over here and they try to drag us back to the confusion. Oh, I'm Eastern Orthodox. Why is Eastern Orthodox better than Catholicism? Why is Catholicism better than the Protestants? Then you get to the Protestants and they got fights going on among them. You got the Mormons, you got the Seventh-day Adventists. And that's just in Christianity. Then you go outside of that, you got different denominations in Judaism. You got different denominations in Islam. All of this confusion. That's Babylon. All of that is Babylon. How in the heck do I even begin to tell somebody how to overcome sin, Jeff, in the midst of all this? Can anybody tell me? How do I even begin? Where do I even start? We don't think about this like that, and this ain't a shot at Roar, but the way he sent it to me is like, it's challenging, but it should be easy. He made it sound real easy, like, hey, just tell him this, that. Dude, can easily do that. But we're in a sea of confusion and we're drowning. So before I teach you how to overcome sin, it's a lot of stuff you got to unconfuse. And a lot of people have fallen in love with the confusion. They love it. And they subconsciously promote it. That's why more Christians would rather see me debate Sam Shimon than try to find something we agree on. Y'all understand? That's how Christians think. See, Christians see arguing and going back and forth debate. There's more confusion. Right? I'm not saying all debates are wrong, but debating is a form of confusion too, because some people are listening and you got people on both sides, and some people believe me, some people believe the other guy, and there's gonna always be that group in the middle who don't know who's right. They don't know who to believe. That's confusion. See, we don't think about this like that. And confusion equals sin. Confusion leads to sin. That's what it does. Because you don't know right from wrong. You don't know what to do. If you're confused about being a man, Jeff, right? If you're confused about that, you say, "Well, I think I'm supposed to be a woman." If you're thinking like that and you go hook up with another man, that's sin. That confusion calls you to sin. So you can't overcome sin until you overcome Babylon. Do everybody understand that before we move on? Do everybody understand that you got to overcome Babylon to overcome sin, which means overcome confusion? Do everybody understand that? We got to do that. That's what we got to do. Now watch where Paul got this from. And you ain't got to read verse 12. Let's go first to Ezra chapter 6. We ain't gonna go to Paul yet. Let's go to Ezra chapter 6. Let's go there. I want y'all to understand this. We confused enough as it is, and we go out and we be confusing ourselves even more. That's why a lot of people confused right now. They be listening to all these different teachers. Listen to everybody. And then they come back and they want you to unconfuse them. And I'm not talking about teachers of different topics. Like, you're not going to get confused if you got an English teacher, then you go over there and you listen to your biology teacher. Two totally different topics. But when it comes to Christianity, religion, you got people, 1 minute they over here, next minute they over there, then after that they over there, then after that they over there, then they circle back to you, and now they want you to clear it all up for them. I'm not doing that. Don't ask me about anything you heard somebody else teach because you jumping all over the place. Because I'm not going to explain it. I'm going to say, well, just listen to them. Well, I don't know if they're telling the truth. I want to hear from you. If you trusted me to correct them, you wouldn't be able to listen to them in the first place. How is it, Jeff, that you trust me to fact check them, but not enough to not leave me in the first place?
Right. And I remember back in the day, you used to say, before you go getting confused and going to these other groups, just stick here for a while, learn the basics, and then, play it that way. But if you keep going back and forth, you're just going to get confused.
Exactly. We don't supposed to be doing that. That's just common sense. You're trying to learn a skill from 3 or 4 different people, the same skill, and they're all teaching it differently. You ain't gonna do anything but confuse yourself. And that's what we do. We confuse ourselves, and then we want somebody else to unconfuse them. I'm fine with that. I will unconfuse you for $120 an hour. You understand what I'm saying? I will do it. See, that's extra work for me. I don't mind doing it. She's gonna pay me. That's work. You follow what I'm saying? I don't mind doing it, but you're gonna pay me. If you want to go out there and explore a bunch of different belief systems and all that other good stuff, I am all for it if you get confused and want to come back and have me put it all into perspective for you. I would do it $120 an hour. But see, people want to put you to work and make you work overtime. They want you to work overtime for something they're doing. That's not how I roll. You know what I'm saying? I don't roll like that. You ain't finna put me to work because you curious. I got to work extra hard because you're curious. How that sound, Jeff? I got to work extra hard because you're curious.
Yeah, right. You got to come off with a couple of bands for that, man.
Exactly. You got to break me off. Let me ask you a question, Jeff. What do you call an institution that you pay to satisfy your intellectual curiosity? And anybody can answer that question. What do you call that institution?
University.
Thank you. Or college. Thank you. School is also acceptable. Isn't that what you call an institution that you pay to satisfy your intellectual curiosity? Ain't that what you call that? College or university, right? Let me ask you a question, Jeff. Since when has colleges or universities ever been free?
Not unless you get a scholarship. No, you got to
Somebody
pay
still
some.
paying. Somebody still paying for it, Jeff. Just because you got a scholarship, somebody still paid for it.
Well, right. So definitely no one. You got somebody coming up off some dub. Most definitely.
Right. So why is it that you can go to a college and you're willing to pay their tuition raw? That's well because this is what I'm talking about, and he asked for this class, so it's a double-edged sword. It's helping him, but at the same time, I'm trying to point out some stuff for him to learn, right? So Roar is in college, which means he's paying some kind of intuition. If he got a scholarship, somebody paying it. So you'll pay them, or have somebody pay them to satisfy your intellectual curiosity. When I say I want money for it, you're like, those are the exact words on Wednesday night when I said that to him. He was like, what? Shocked that I want to get compensated for satisfying your intellectual curiosity, but was more than happy to pay somebody else to satisfy your intellectual curiosity. See, when you put in stuff in perspective like that, it kind of makes it seem like, yo, I'm just going to try to take advantage of this, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what he was trying to do. I'm not saying that. Raw, good dude. I want everybody to know that. Sometimes we do stuff, and like I said, we don't slow down and think, right? My time is valuable too, right? So if you're going to pay them, pay me. And Jeff and everybody at ABT can tell you the information I give people, they have taken it to universities, theologian schools, and their professors have told them, we don't know where you study at, but man, at a school where they actually go to learn the Bible, theologian school, right? So my stuff matches and surpasses their stuff, but y'all paying them. How'd you feel, Jeff, if you got your wife and you taking care of her and you buying her nice things and you paying most of the bills, and then she want to go out and be with another man?
Oh man, that wouldn't work.
That wouldn't work. But see, this is what people think they're gonna low key do to Josh. They want me to satisfy their intellectual curiosity, answer all their questions, then they go pay their money to somebody else. See, that's the principle of that. It's just messed up. But I will unconfuse anybody, on the side for extra if you want to take one of my sessions. But I'm not just gonna just do that just because you're curious. I do it for people, who've been part of the ministry for a minute and already been supporting and throwing donations in now. But just somebody, hey man, I need you to break me off on this. And there are people who have taken the sessions too, Jeff. They've done it. They know I deliver, and I don't charge for even every hour. You follow what I'm saying? They'll tell you it ain't about the money for me strictly, but I enjoy what I do. But I just want people to know that if you are confused, that's okay. Come to class and I will unconfuse you, but don't make it harder for yourself or for me. I'm your bodyguard. I protect you and shield you from bullets, from harm. But you don't run out from behind the bodyguard like, hey, everybody take a shot at me. And then when they start shooting shots, get up here in front of me now. See now? You making it hard for us. You follow what I'm saying? Make it easy for me to protect you. That makes sense to everybody before we move on? Jeff, that makes sense to you?
Makes perfect sense.
You know what I'm saying? Make it easy for me to protect you. I'll protect you, but make it easy for me. Stay behind the shield. Stay down. You know how the body, stay down. They shooting. Stay down. I'm jumping on you. Tell you to stay down. You jumping up. Take your best shot. I can't do that. Right? I want to protect you. This Ezra though, Ezra 6. And Roy know I love him. That's why I give Roy a hard time. Because Roy give me a hard time. Roy give us a hard time too. Don't act like he innocent. He messed with us too. That's why I mess right back with him. Right? But Roy cool. Roy love this attention anyway. Y'all got to understand that. Roy love attention in a good way. So I'm going to mess with him. I'm going to give him this attention. All the same way. Roy said Roar. Ezra chapter 6. Ezra chapter 6, 19 to 21. This is after they came out of Babylon. The children of Israel, the same one we just read about in Isaiah. Somebody said the book of, I knew somebody was going to do that though. The book of Roar. Ezra, hey, it ain't bad. Okay. Ezra chapter 6, 19 to 21. Now watch what it says right here. Go ahead and read.
Ezra 6, verse 19. And the children of the captivity kept the Passover until the 14th day of the first month.
Same captivity we was talking about, them coming out of Babylon. Now watch what it says. Go ahead.
For the priests and the Levites were purified together. All of them were pure, and killed the Passover for all the children of the captivity, and for their brethren, the priests, and for themselves.
Hmm?
And the children of Israel, which were come again out of captivity, and all such as had separated themselves unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land, to seek the Lord God of Israel, did eat.
Jeff, did you notice that it described the ones that came out of captivity and all such as have separated themselves
From the
unto them from the filthiness of the heathen of the land? Don't that sound the same thing as don't touch the unclean thing? Isn't unclean and filthy the same thing?
yes, sir.
Notice when they came out, it's describing them as separating themselves from the filthiness of the heathen. Remember, I said you got to mix out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. See, to overcome sin, you got to separate yourself. You got to mix out from the filthiness. Don't touch the unclean thing, spiritually or physically.
Yes, sir.
In Christianity, what even is an unclean thing, Jeff?
They can't tell you.
They can't tell you. We ain't talking about like your table getting dirty or your carpet getting dirty. You know, Paul wasn't talking about that. Christians can't even tell you what's an unclean thing.
Yeah, the concept of unclean has been done away with them. So
Has been done away with. But I'm going to show you that Paul makes a reference to what we read in Isaiah 52 and 11, and a reference to what we just read here in Ezra. Y'all understand that? See, we don't understand. We're like, oh, everything is clean. Everything is not clean. Where you get that from? That is crazy. That's what they say, though, don't they, Rice Ball? Christ made everything clean. No, he didn't. Now watch this. Let's see what Paul got this from. Because, you know, all of this, do we all agree, before we move on, all this is talking about Babylon, like the actual ancient Babylon they came out of. Do we all got that, Jeff? Kevin J, Gideon, Keanu, everybody on Clubhouse on the stage. We all got that. I have to show y'all where they're getting these spiritual concepts from. Remember the class we did in Bible study, the New Testament's Bible? So you got to understand this Old Testament. So when we get to the New Testament and they spiritualize these concepts, we'll have a better understanding of them because we understand the physical. And by the way, write this down, make a note of it. In order to understand spiritual things, you must first understand physical things.
Yes.
You can't start with the spiritual. That's putting the cart before the horse. You got to understand the physical first. That's why when you get to the New Testament and they start throwing all these spiritual concepts at you that are based on physical things from the Old Testament, you're confused. You're Babylon. And this is one of them, right? Now watch what happens here. Now let's go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6. This is how you overcome sin. You got to overcome Babylon. We don't even know that we're in Babylon. That's the average Christian. Are we in Babylon? Wasn't that ancient city that was destroyed? See, you don't even know what I'm talking about. And when you get the revelation, it has a lot to say about this spiritual Babylon we in. We're going to touch on it a little bit. I ain't want to go too much into it because I want to say that for a later class when we start talking about, Mark of the Beast and all that stuff.
All right.
Because I got a lot of classes I've done on Babylon. But Christians are not even ready for this stuff because they're not being taught it. And then they want to come in here and argue and argue and argue. You are confused. If you are a Christian, if you were born a Christian, raised a Christian, still is a Christian, there's a 99.9% chance that you're confused. How can you even say that, Josh? Because I bet you belong to some denomination. I bet you do. I got you, Josh. I'm non-denominational. Yeah, but you still borrow the teachings of the denominations. Where you get your Sunday worship from, Mr. Non-denominational? I can't stand them. I hate them the most, the non-denominations, because they the biggest liars. At least the rest of them got some kind of originality. Non-denomination people will hijack your stuff and say we non-denominational. Then why you go to church on Sunday like all the other denominations? If you're non-denominational, you should be going to church on the Sabbath. Or if you're just really trying to be original, just pick Wednesday as your day to go to worship. Or Thursday or something like that. You in there on Sunday just like the rest of them. You celebrating Christmas just like the rest of them. You celebrating Easter just like the rest of them. But you supposed to be non-denominational. In name only. You about to say something, Jeff?
No, not at all.
Right. They be killing me with this non-denominational stuff. Man, miss me with that. Y'all the fakest ones. Y'all the bottom feeders. Y'all eat everybody else's stuff. And then try to say you different. How fake is that, Jeff? Bar for bar, man. Y'all copy everybody else bar for bar, then jump up and say you non-denominational. What's non-denominational about you? Because you don't claim a denomination? What makes a denomination in the first place? It ain't just the name, it's practices. So you practice what they do. Now tell me, Mr. Non-denominational church, where did you get this practice from? Mm-hmm. Don't say the Bible, because it ain't in there. Stop the cap. Right? It's 2 Corinthians 6. This is how you overcome. 14 to 17. We're going to see that Paul makes a direct reference to that Isaiah 52 and 11. And that was talking about Babylon. But he used it to represent sin in general. Read, please, Mr. Jeff.
2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And
now, look what he said. He said, be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Yoke or a yoke. It's not referring to that rear naked choke you do, Jeff. It's talking about another type of yoke. You know what I'm saying? He said, because Jeff don't put a few unequal yokes on some people. You know what I'm saying? But it's talking about that yoke is like a wooden collar that you put on oxen when they were plowing the field. And this is referring to like doing work and trying to accomplish something. And if you and being unequally yoked refer to an oxen that couldn't keep up with another oxen, or you got an entirely different animal altogether. In other words, you're mixing two things together that don't go together. And when you do that, that creates an inequality, right? So you can't be unequally yoked together with unbelievers. Like I said, a lot of people like to use this to refer strictly to marriage. And you can use this to talk about marriage, but this is talking about relationships in general when it comes to the believer and the unbeliever. We're not supposed to be unequally yoked together with them. It says, for what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness. Y'all do know that literally you cannot mix light and darkness. That's scientifically impossible.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're talking about a black hole or something. There is no communion with light and darkness. In other words, light and darkness don't mix. They don't go together. Right? But watch what else he says. Go ahead and read.
Verse 15.
15. Mm-hmm.
And what concord hath Christ with Belial? Or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel?
Or what concord, meaning agreement, have Christ with Belial, which is another name for Satan? Or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? Infidel means unbeliever. What part? These are rhetorical questions. The answer is none. To overcome sin, you have to mix out from among the sinners. That's why he told them in ancient Babylon, depart, depart. Touch not the unclean thing. You're supposed to leave and don't touch anything unclean on your way out. That's why when the guy came in here with the Jesus thumbnail, with that false image, talking about my pastor taught me this, but you took some of that Babylon with you. If your pastor taught you that, then why did you take some of that Babylon with you? You're supposed to leave that. All of us right now, spiritually, we're supposed to be on a constant run. Like Babylon got us on the run. We're constantly running from it. It's chasing us. We can't stop running, y'all. And in another class, I'm going to show you that that's a literal thing you're going to have to do during the time of the Great Tribulation. Saints are going to be on the run. And they're going to be chasing you down to kill you. Right now, spiritually, we're on the run. We're trying to leave that world spiritually. Right? But continue. Watch what else it says.
Verse 16. And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
And what agreement have the temple of God with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. We are not supposed to have idols in the church. Will somebody please tell the Roman Catholic Church that? And they're still trying to convert you to Roman Catholicism. People come here all the time. You need to be a Catholic. Catholicism is Babylon. That's confusion. Y'all are mixing two things that don't go together. The temple of God, which are Christians, and idols. You're mixing them together. Paul is telling you this. To overcome sin, you have to mix out from among Babylon. And Paul is going to make a direct reference to this. Read, Jeff.
Verse 17. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
Where did we just read that at, Jeff? That was back in Isaiah 52 and verse 11.
Right.
But what was he talking about back then, literally, that he said they had to leave out of, Jeff? What was the literal place they had to leave out of when he said that?
They were coming out of I can't remember.
Ancient what? The country, the place? Yeah, Babylon. They were coming out of ancient Babylon. But notice that Paul is making a reference to this, Jeff, but he's spiritualizing it and comparing it to sin.
Okay.
Come out from under them and be ye separate from this sinful world, the sinful people in this world, the sinful practices. To overcome Babylon and overcome sins means to mix out. We're mixing in. That's the confusion. And when you mix in, you get mixed. Now you're in the mix. We don't want to be in the mix. We don't want to be involved. That's why he said, and be ye separate. Everybody understand that? Be separate. This is how you overcome sin. You got to separate from this world. It ain't enough for me to just tell Roar, well, Roar, you got to stop sinning. Can he do that if he's surrounded by sinners all the time? I got to tell him exactly what to do. He got to mix out. That means you're going to have to cut off a lot of relationships. You're going to have to do it. And if you're not willing to do that, you're still in the mix. In the mix, also, slang, urban, can refer to who you hang around. Y'all understand? And a lot of people not willing to do this. You got to cut off relationships. You got to cut off places you attend church at. See, a lot of y'all come here and y'all listen to me and y'all believe me. God bless you. And your parents don't even make you go to church. But you ask me, well, Josh, is it okay for me to still go to church with my parents and all this? And what do you think? How does that sound? What do be ye separate mean? See, y'all want to be separate and yet at the same time still be up in the mix. You still want to be mixed in. See, the reason why God told the children of Israel, first of all, do y'all know the other reason why God told the children of Israel to get out of ancient Babylon? Anybody in the chat know that? Do y'all know the other reason why he told them to flee, depart, and don't touch the unclean thing? Anybody in the chat want to take a shot at that one? Why do y'all think it is? Close, Duster. I'm looking for a specific answer. What did he do to Sodom and Gomorrah?
Destroyed it.
And that's the other reason. That's the other reason why he told them, because he was letting them know. You can read this in the prophets. I'm about to destroy this city, this country. I'm about to destroy it. See, that's another reason why you have to overcome Babylon, because if you don't, you go down with it. If that ain't an incentive to overcome sin, I don't know what is, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
The way he said, be ye separate, says the Lord, touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. Ask the Christian today, what is the unclean thing? They couldn't even tell you. They think idolatry is okay. They think you can eat whatever you want to eat. What is the unclean thing then? You follow what I'm saying? What is the unclean thing, Jeff? If they telling you idols are okay, you can eat whatever you want to eat. Right. What is the unclean thing that Paul is referencing here that he's telling us not to touch?
Right.
It got to be something unclean that we today as Christians need not to touch for this to still apply to us, both physically and spiritually. And I will receive you. That's what you got to do to overcome. We don't want to. Remember, Babylon means confusion. From the root Hebrew word, balal, which means what? Mixed up, mixed. And that's what it is. When you look at Christianity, don't they look mixed up to you? Yeah, like they confused. Like y'all all mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody reading the same book, talking about the same Jesus, and we got all this. And ain't nobody about to stand up and say, well, we're wrong. And everybody telling you that they're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the weird thing about it. Everybody is telling you that they're right. If somebody came in here right now, Jeff, and say, I got the winning numbers for Mega Millions before it dropped. These are the winning numbers. How many of y'all would believe them? Tell me in the chat. Would you believe them? In the chat, if somebody came here and said these are the winning numbers that are gonna fall, would you believe them? You know what? And do you know why you wouldn't believe them? Because you're gonna be like, what are the odds that you have the winning number? They may really believe it, but you're not gonna be like, oh, they definitely got it, because there are so many numbers to pick from and so many different combinations. What are the odds that you have the right numbers? But when it comes to religion, people just put in a lottery ticket and be like, oh, I'm gonna win. I got the winning ticket. Play one time. Most of y'all have never had more than one denomination. Tell the truth. Y'all tell me in the chat, how many denominations have you had? When you were growing up, how many denominations have you had other than the one you grew up with? If anybody got two, are you an adult? If you are you an adult? I'm talking about exactly. Adults gonna have more. I said when you were growing up. When you were growing up, listen to the question. When you were growing up, meaning you're not an adult, how many denominations did you have? Because I had two growing up. So Rice Ball, did your parents switch religions while you were growing up? You heard me, Rice Ball? Did your parents switch religions while you were growing up? I don't see them respond. I see everybody else responding. Is Rice Ball still there? Okay, that's the only way that can happen. Yeah, that's the only way that can happen. Right? That's the only way. But most of us are going to have one growing up. If you're an adult, yeah, you're going to have more than one because you might switch once you become an adult. So most of us only had one religion growing up. Didn't we? One. So why would you think that one religion, with all the odds of all these other ones out here, denominations, you got the right one?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you just believe that? And then you go talk to your pastor, and your pastor, everybody else wrong, so you only got it right. That's what you're saying. Don't y'all understand, when you join a denomination and you believe your denomination is right, by default, you're saying all the other tens of thousands are wrong. And what's crazy is nobody, not even me, knows all denominations. We can study every single one of them down to a T. See, that's what you're saying. But I don't have to do that. You know why? Because if it's a denomination, I know it didn't start with Jesus. It wouldn't need a name. You follow what I'm saying? It wouldn't need a founder. I'm the founder of Absolute Bible Truth Ministries, but I'm not the founder of a denomination. Right? That's just name of our particular group, but we're not a denomination that's like, okay, this is what we believe, and Brother Josh, the Lord spoke to him while he was changing out an outlet one day. Nah, none of that stuff. No, we don't do all that. We just people over here reading the word and trying to follow it to the best of our ability based on what it says. But ain't nobody over here saying they're Joshua-ish. Like you said, you're a Calvinist. How dare you call yourself a Christian, then throw another man's name on the title of what you are? It'll really make me laugh. I'm a Calvinist. So you following Calvin? No, I follow Christ. Then you're a Christian. Well, yeah, you confused. Put them in the chat. Cedricism. That don't even sound right. That sounds like something deceiving somebody. Let me introduce you to Cedricism. Did that even sound? Go ahead, Chidia. Go ahead. Huh? We're Christians. We're Christians. The end. Falls of Christ. See, when you start throwing denominations on it, now you're looking for somebody other than Christ. You're looking for a founder. You follow what I'm saying? See, other denominations, they'll say, oh, we're Christians, right? They'll say that. But what kind of Christian? Oh, I'm a Protestant. Oh, that's Martin Luther. See, when you start getting denominations, you start getting people who invented some kind of religion within Christianity. I didn't do that. You follow what I'm saying? I didn't start a new denomination. If I did, then we'd have a name for it, just like all the rest of them do, right? We're just Christians. That's all people need. What are y'all, Christians? We don't have people come in and ask us that before. What are y'all, Christians? Followers of Christ? Don't put nobody else's name in front of it. No cedricism. Like I said, they don't even sound right anyway. They sound like something that have you all the way jacked up somewhere. You'll be on the news following some cedricism. You follow what I'm saying? What you say, TDI? It sounds horrible. You know what I'm saying? You'll be on the news somewhere. You'll be drinking some Kool-Aid or something. No, we don't do that. What'd you say, Space? I thought sola scriptura. That's your question, Space? I don't understand the question, sir. Sola scriptura just means only scripture. That's all it means. We only follow the scriptures. Christianity is the is a name related to the person we follow. Sola scriptura is a reference to the documents we follow that the person we follow used. Same thing. But let's move on. Revelation 18. That's where all this confusion is. And it's a lot of confusion too, Gideon. It is. People go to church and y'all, come on, y'all. Honestly, it never confused you, even when you was a child and you went to church and there was another church right across the street or up the road. I never confused y'all. You ain't never wondered, Mommy, why can't we just go to this church? I know it used to confuse me. And the crazy thing is, your mom said, oh, they teach the word here. So do you honestly think she tried every church on the way to that church you drove far to go to? Mm-hmm. And it's hard. And there's no such thing. Y'all heard me say this before. There is no such thing as a perfect church. But if I'm going to drive past several churches to get the one far out, it better be worth it. I'm not going to drive halfway across town to go to a church that is pretty much the same as 5 churches I passed by to get there. That's crazy. I can understand if we had a physical building, and let's just say we all stayed in the same state, like Texas, right? I can understand if some of y'all drove past a lot of churches to get over here to where we are. Because we ain't teaching the same old that you're going to pass by on the way to us. But a lot of these people that go halfway across town, they're not really getting anything different. You follow what I'm saying? It's not really worth it. You might like the people at your church better, but doctrine-wise, what really is the difference? That's confusing. Weren't you confused, Jeff, as a kid? When you saw all the churches that you had to go past to get to another church?
Well,
that always confused me.
Yeah, I was taught that it was all false, but you know how I was in the cult anyway.
Right.
I said they had a lot of truth, but I understand what you're saying 100%, bro.
Right. And people say, oh, they're all false. Okay, so the Jehovah's Witness, they got the winning lottery ticket.
That's what they teach.
See, every denomination think they got that winning lottery ticket. That means out of everybody else who played the lottery, only they hit it.
Yep.
The problem is 40,000 plus people are claiming to have hit the lottery. Can you imagine what would happen in real life if you played the number and 40,000 other people hit it? How much money you think you getting?
Mm-hmm.
Especially if it's the standard $10 million. Y'all understand? You ain't getting that much. That ain't special. That's Babylon. That's confusion. How you gonna overcome sin? Roar? And I'm not attacking Roar, I'm just calling them out. How you gonna overcome sin, Roar, when Roar walks out his front door and goes to college, church right there, he probably got a church that he can see from his dorm room. Or walk right around the corner. That's confusion. And then you get on the campus itself, and they got religious studies on campus. More confusion. Can't escape it. Gotta run. Gotta get up out of there. But not literally. We can't do it literally. We got to do it spiritually. And before we do it spiritually, we got to understand what sin is. And they don't know what sin is. How you going to overcome something if you don't even know what it is? You don't even know what you're doing. But this is Revelation 18. Now watch what this says. This is what we ended that other one off with, that last class we did. Remember the Messiah's menorahs? We ended out with this one.
Let me see.
Now we picking back up with this. We're going to go somewhere completely different with it than we did last time, though. This is Revelation 18, 1-4. We got to be separate. We mixed up. Boy, are we mixed up. Woo, Jeff, are we mixed up.
It's pretty bad.
It's real bad out here, y'all. And it's been bad. Y'all need to go back to the early times and start reading about all these, boy, like in the, over here in this country alone, like in the early, like 16, 17, 1800s. Woo, boy. Especially all these world wars, like World War I and World War II, buddy, Christians were having a field day. 7 Day Adventist the same way. Ellen G. White talking about these wars. I'm like, it's still happening right now. You go on social media. Social media is not just Babylon. It's a Babylon with a middle finger.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, Jeff?
That's good.
It's Babylon with a middle finger.
Tell me about it.
You follow what I'm saying? Revelation 18, 1-4. Go ahead, Jeff.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Mm-hmm.
Cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
Well, like I told y'all in another class, I'm going to go into more detail about this Babylonian system. It's this whole world system, and it's ran by a religious, spiritual institution. It's not just a bunch of wicked men going out. It's a bunch of spirituality involved in this. But look what it said. And he cried mightily with a strong voice. This is in the future, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, Talking about this wicked world that we have to overcome. And it has become the habitation of devils. That word there in the Greek means demons. And the hold of every foul spirit and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. This is still more references to demons. So this world, sisters and brothers, is filled with demons. So if you want to be a part of Babylon, that means you're getting mixed up with demonic forces. Do y'all see why it's important to mix out?
Most definitely.
Do y'all see that? And what do they call these demons in the New Testament besides just devils? They also call them unclean spirits. Unclean. Touch not the unclean thing, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
See, a lot of us touch unclean things spiritually. We summon demons. We go around demonic activity and we try to mix it in with Christianity, right? But the way this is describing this here, this Babylon, it said it's corrupted. It's filled with this stuff, right? Watch what else it says. Read verse 3. What else is going on with it?
Verse 3. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
Said, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. You got to understand the Old Testament when it talks about somebody committing fornication with another nation, specifically the children of Israel doing it with other nations. God called that fornication, or sometimes he called it adultery. And by doing that, God meant worshiping their gods or their idols. But look what it said. It said, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, which is the wrath that's going to come from God for them doing this with this Babylonian system. But it said all nations and the kings of the earth. What that means is the whole world, y'all. So the whole world is under this Babylonian system, right? This entire world, it says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies, meaning this worldly system has made a lot of people rich.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrities have become rich by mixing in with Babylon. Plus the people who sell idols, these little trinkets, crosses, crucifixes, stars of David, anything people use
Mm-hmm.
to try to promote idolatry. This Babylonian system has gotten rich off of it. This is a wicked system. We have to overcome it. And watch how he's going to tell you how you overcome it. We're going to read the same thing. It's going to be familiar, Jeff. Read the next verse, please. Verse 4.
Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
And I heard another voice from heaven say, come out of her, my people. That's supposed to be us, right, Jeff? The saints, Christians,
Right.
right? Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers. We're going to look at that word. Partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So why is he telling us to come out of her, Jeff, and be not partakers of her sins? So we won't receive her plagues. That's that punishment I was telling y'all about.
Mm-hmm.
But that come out of her, my people, where have we read that before? 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and 11, right? But where did they get it? But where the not was it 11?
14 through 16.
It was 14 to 16, yeah. 2 Corinthians 6, 14 to 16. And where did Paul get it from? Ezra 6, 19 to 21. I mean, he got it from Isaiah 52, 11 to 12, and Ezra 6, 19 to 21. Notice they're all telling us the same thing. Come out of her. But Jeff, how in the world can we come out of Babylon if Babylon is the world? How do we do that?
So spiritual.
Spiritually. And don't be partakers of her sins. That's how you come out of Babylon. That's how you overcome it. You say, Gideon? Well, that's not why Jesus said it, but Jesus also told us not to be of this world, and that's what he meant when he told us that. Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. So guess what? And see how Gideon just connected those dots? So guess what? If you come out of Babylon spiritually, aren't you saying you're no longer a citizen?
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what we're doing. But he said, don't be partakers of her sins. That's how you come out of Babylon, partakers. But I want y'all to pay attention to this word partakers, because I'm going to look this up for y'all in the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance and watch what it tells you what it means. And a lot of stuff is going to make sense when you look it up. This is Revelation 18:4, the word translated partakers. We're going to go to the Strong's Exhaustive Concordance and look up the word translated partakers in the Greek section. It's kind of a long word, but we'll sound it out. And the word is, and it's 4790 in the Greek section. 4790 in the Greek section. And the word is sun koinoneo. Sound almost Asian. Sun koinoneo, right? And it says from Greek 4862 and Greek 2841. Look what partakers mean. To share in company with. That is, co-participate, communicate, have fellowship with, be partaker of. You see that word communicate there? To share with. Remember I used that word earlier in this class, Jeff, about communicate?
Have fellowship, yes, sir.
Have fellowship with. But look at the very first definition. To share in company with. What does it mean to share company with somebody, Jeff?
To associate with.
Specifically in what way? Somebody in the chat just said it. Mixing,
Mixing.
mingling. You were right, Jeff. You were right. Associating with them, same thing. But it was a particular word I was looking for. Mingle, mixing. That's what it means to share a company with. That means I'm right around you. You right around me. So he's saying this. Now, this is what I want you to do, Jeff. Read Revelation 18:3 again. And where you read where it says, or I'm sorry, verse 4, 18:4, and where it says, come out of her, my people, where it says that you be not partakers of her sins. We ain't gonna use that part. Where it says, come ye out of her. Just substitute that with don't mix with her. Read the whole thing, but just say don't mix with her. That's what it means, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and read, please.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, don't mix with her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues.
Don't mix with her, my people, or don't mix with her, my people, and don't share her company. You see how it all lines up? Because remember what we read in the Psalms, when the children of Israel mingled with the nations, it said they learned their works. This is talking about the same thing. Don't mingle with her. Don't mix with her. And don't partake of her sins. Because if you mix with her, if you mingle with her, you're going to learn her works, which is her sins. Does that make sense to everybody? Does that line up with what we've been reading? Right? How does your Bible tell you to overcome sin? We can't partake of Babylon's sins. But we want to stay mixed up with her. We want to keep idols in the church. We want to keep confusing our kids, telling them, oh, you can be whatever you think you are. If you're a little boy and you think you're supposed to be a girl, we're going to endorse that. We're going to encourage that. That's confusion. You are partaking of Babylon. You don't want to come up out of her. You see all these different denominations. You don't want to come up out of her. That's confusion. When God first confounded the language, the confusion led to division and separation. What do you see in the modern day church today? Confusion and separation. That's why you got all these denominations. And you mean to tell me out of 1,000 plus denominations, Jeff, ain't a single pastor jumped up yet and said this is a bunch of confusion?
Mm-hmm.
They're part of the problem. Hashtag fire your pastor. They're promoting the confusion. They're keeping us confused. And who's behind them? It has become the habitation of devils, demons. All of this stuff is demonic. Me and Roar can't help y'all overcome sin until we first tell you confused. And a lot of people don't want to believe they confused. Somebody coming here right now trying to challenge me, Jeff. They don't think they're confused. If you're challenging me, you think I'm confused. Right?
Yeah, right.
Chill out. We got a lot of confused people challenging us. And then when I start walking down their religion, then they want to get in their feelings. Dude, you are confused. If you got a denomination, I already know you. I don't even got to hear anything you got to say. If you got a denomination, you are confused. And be honest, chat. How many of y'all came from a denomination before you start studying here? Give me a W if you came from at least one. If you came from a denomination. Look at this. Shout out these W's weekend. Cash Caleb said he can come from denomination. What, you grew up in an atheistic house, Cash Caleb? Your parents were atheists? What did you grow up believing, Cash Caleb? Like, you had to believe something. Is that always a Christian? But what was the name of your denomination or your church? That's what I want to know, Cash Caleb. What was the name of your denomination? Were you Baptist, Episcopalian? He said he's Washington. Does he even know Roar? I mean, it's like you know more about it. Nah, Roar was. Nah, I know Roar was Baptist, I think. But what were you, Cash Caleb? They telling on each other. They ain't telling. They ain't saying what they are themselves. Do you even know Cash Caleb? If you don't know, that's cool. See, the reason why I asked for the name of his church is because I can just Google it and the website will tell me if it was a denomination or not. See, I'll fact check. I'll go behind you. There's more than one way to skin the cat. If you don't know the denomination, tell me the name of the church. They will tell you on the site, won't they, Jeff? They'll say, we are whatever. They'll tell you.
Yes, they will.
You don't got to say if you don't want to. You don't got to say. It's not even important anyway. But I'm just saying, we all come from a denomination. But is that your fault, Jeff? Is it yours, Gideon? Keanu? Is it any of our faults that we come from a denomination?
No, it's not our fault. It's only our fault when we hear the truth and we ignore it and don't examine what we're learning.
Right. We were born into confusion, y'all. That's why nobody has anything to be ashamed of. You don't gotta have pride about it. Man, he put me out there, man. You know, I can't come it too. We all did. So I'm not judging anybody. I'm just making a point. If you come from a denomination, you're confused. You know, but some people, for whatever reason, Jeff, they want to be special. Not me. Yeah, you. Look at Cash Caleb. Watch this though. What day did they go to church on, Cash Caleb? What day did they go to church on mainly for the day of worship? Thank you. Denomination. Worse than denomination. That's worse than denomination. Because they hijack Sunday worship from the denomination. So that's worse than the denomination. You would have been better off just saying, man, we were Baptists. See? That's still the same thing. We're not a denomination. We're just going to steal all y'all stuff. Even the day y'all worship on. You follow what I'm saying? See, that's what I'm saying. We all come from it. Ain't nothing to be ashamed of. They ain't got just because you don't claim a denomination don't mean you're not one. You got to really just test people to see if that's true. See, we're not a denomination. We go to church on Saturday, the Sabbath, because that's the 7th day of the week, and that's what God said to do. We don't do it because Ellen G. White said to do it. See, Ellen G. White made the Sabbath commandment her own. And then came up with a religion called the 7-Day Adventist. And I think it was another guy that she was with at first. I had to look into it again. Right? We do it because God say do it. Do y'all understand that? We ain't doing anything that man tell us to do because man say to do it. Right? Even if it's a tradition in the Bible, we can still show you it started in the Bible. Yeah. Sunday is the Lord, but the Lord's Day is not the Sabbath day. Somebody in the chat say Sunday is the Lord's Day, but the Lord's Day is not the Sabbath day. Two different things. Y'all understand that? The Lord's Day and the Sabbath day are two different things. Do everybody understand that? See, that's confusion. They mixing terms up. The Lord's Day referred to the day Jesus rose from the dead. Sunday. The Sabbath day is the 7th day of the week that God sanctified in the creation. How are they the same day? They got two different origins, two different reasons for being celebrated, and they're on two different days. So how come when I talk about the Sabbath day, somebody starts talking about the Lord's Day? He said, that's when, oh boy, here we go. That's when the apostles gathered together to worship on the Lord's Day. Show me that in the scriptures, operator. Come on the stage right now. Raise your hand. We about at the end anyway. Raise your hand and come on the stage right now. He said, that's when the apostles gathered together to worship on the Lord's Day. See? Crickets. See, but then they'll go back. He don't ever let nobody talk. He don't want nobody to come on the stage. See, when I call them up, you see what I'm saying? Just be saying stuff. Confused. What I tell y'all? Bunch of confused people trying to do what? Challenge us. Wow. Y'all see how they do? Bunch of confused people trying to challenge us. He already let us know that when I mentioned Sabbath day, when he said the Lord's Day, I already know he was confused. He already confused in 2 terms, Jeff. See? Confused. I'm getting so tired of confused people trying to teach me, man. You confused, man. Why you want to confuse me too? These people are trip. Come out of her. Don't post no scriptures in the chat. Anybody who else got on, mute him. If you don't want to come on the stage, mute him. We don't play that sideline stuff, man. I'm on the stage showing my face, talking to everybody. You gonna do it this way like that, or stay silent? I don't argue with people in the audience, bro. That ain't how we do this. We gladiators up here. Gladiators don't argue with the crowd. You come up into the ring, step into the arena, or shut up. You got people want to fight from the audience. No, come in this ring. You follow what I'm saying? Come on up here and get it. Well, let's move on. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5. We only got 2 more after that. So I'll call you up. I'll call you up. You know what I'm saying? I'll make you famous. You want to be famous? I'll make you famous. People famous for a lot of stuff. They ain't proud of a lot of stuff they famous for either, though. I keep telling y'all, man, you got too many that's part of the confusion. And confused people love to go out and further confuse people. That's the problem. You can't teach about what you've been confused about. That don't even make any sense. Going to scriptures talking about Paul collecting money on the first day of the week. Don't even use the scriptures right, Jeff. Like, and then we walk through them, and I just ask them what they got to do with anything like that. What's that got to do with anything? What's the Lord's Day got to do with the Sabbath day? Right? I'm not talking about the day that Jesus rose from the dead. I'm talking about the Sabbath day. But you know why he introduced that, Jeff? Because at a certain time in history, Rome started phasing out the Sabbath day in favor of Sunday. And since Christians were already traditionally celebrating what is known as the Lord's Day, celebrating the day Jesus rose from the dead, it was an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
And the Sabbath day eventually faded out, and Sunday became the new Sabbath. That's not scripture, though. So what he's doing is he's teaching the confusion. Then see, that's another thing. We are born on the other side of the confusion. I'm trying to teach y'all as Christians the before confusion. I'm trying to teach y'all the BC, before confusion. Right? They're teaching you the AC, after confusion. Y'all get it? Sabbath day, BC. Sunday worship, AC. Hanukkah, Passover, BC. Christmas, Easter, AC. Everybody get that? BC, before confusion, AC. I'm going to do a whole class on that. I'm going to give y'all the BC side of it, and I'm going to give y'all the AC side of it. And we were all born, Jeff, into the AC after confusion. We were all born into it. I don't know why anybody. See, I feel relieved, Jeff. Don't y'all feel relieved that this is one thing God can't put on us?
Mm-hmm.
Don't y'all feel relieved? Should we be happy? He ain't blaming us for this. This ain't our fault. But once we know, we're supposed to come up out of it. We're supposed to mix out. Right? We're supposed to mix out. That's it. Because this bad boy about to burn down. Ephesians chapter 5. 6 to 8. Watch what Paul says right here. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 6 to 8. Go ahead, please.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 6. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience.
What Paul is telling the Ephesians here. He said, let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things, being deceived by vain words, cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. So notice that Paul is telling the Ephesians that there's some wrath from God that comes upon you being disobedient. Mm-hmm. Disobedient to what? The word, the gospel, the law. Wrath of God come. Well, watch what else he says. This is how you avoid it, though. Go ahead, Jeff.
Verse 7. Be not ye therefore partakers with them.
Be not ye therefore partakers with them. Partakers with who? The children of disobedience. What does it mean to be partakers with them, Jeff? Just like we read in Revelation 18. What does it mean to be partakers with them?
Mixing
What?
with them. Mixing
with them. Mixed up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Being in their company, hanging around them. You mixed in with them. Paul is saying, don't be mixed in with them. That's Babylon, y'all. We don't want to be partakers with them. You can't overcome sin if you're mixed in with sinners. That's Babylon. They are confused. And watch what he calls them in verse 8. Read.
Verse 8. For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light.
Go that light again.
Mm-hmm.
It's that candle, that menorah. Remember that? But he said, for ye were sometimes darkness. Jeff, what does it mean if you say you're in the dark about something?
You're unsure or confused.
You're unsure or confused. Do y'all see all these words have meaning? These phrases have meaning? He said, man, he's in the dark, man. I'm in the dark on this. That means you don't got any understanding. You're confused. It says, for you were sometimes darkness, but now in the light. He said, you used to be in the dark. You used to be confused. Now you're in the light. Now you see. You're not confused anymore. You have become enlightened. That's why that word mean that, by the way, right? Enlightened. That's why they call people who are smart, bright.
Right.
People who are dumb, dull, or dim-witted. What does it mean to dim the lights, Jeff?
Turn it down.
Turn them lower till they go out. That's why they call you dim-witted. When you're smart, they call you bright. When you're dumb, they call you dull or dim-witted. Words have meaning. They associate this with light. They also call you brilliant. Brilliant also means very bright, shining. Dark has always been associated with confused, dumb. See, we can't be partakers of them. We can't, y'all. You can't overcome sin unless you mix out. You got to overcome Babylon. That's the world. That's what it says right here. Let's go to Titus chapter 5. One more after that.
You said Titus chapter 5. There is no Titus.
I'm sorry.
chapter
My
5.
bad. First Timothy. Now I'm confused. First Timothy. The way my notes were written, like the way I abbreviated, I think I abbreviate them the same way. That's First Timothy. Didn't even see the one I wrote in front of that. Just Babylon, y'all. Just Babylon. Y'all know, like I'm confused. Titus 5? Titus ain't even got no 5th chapter, Josh. I know, Keanu. I'm sorry. Got to watch that Babylon. This is on 1 Timothy chapter 5, 21 to 22. Now, this is Paul telling Timothy how to do things, right? Go ahead and read.
First Timothy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, First Timothy chapter 5, verse 21. I charge thee before God and the Lord Jesus Christ and the elect angels that thou observe these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality.
So Paul is telling Timothy, he's giving him a charge, right? He said, I charge thee before God and the Lord Jesus Christ and the elect angels. What happened to the Holy Spirit? That's another class though. That's
Hmm.
messed up that he just left the Holy Spirit out there as a person, even through the angels in there. You follow what I'm saying? But that's another lesson, right? Just wanted to point that out, right? I charge thee before God and the Lord Jesus Christ and the elect angels that thou observe these things without preferring one before another, doing nothing by partiality. He said doing stuff without being prejudiced, without showing favoritism. That's what Paul is telling Timothy to do here. Read the next verse, Jeff.
Verse 22. Lay hands suddenly on no man, neither be partaker of other men's sins. Keep thyself pure.
And we said lay hands suddenly on no man. It ain't talking about you putting hands on them to hurt them or to put hands on them to heal them. Putting hands on people back then was like a ceremonial thing of how they cast on or elected people to like leadership positions in the church, right? So when it said don't put hands on somebody suddenly, that's referring to don't be hasty to appoint somebody before you examine them. You follow what I'm saying? But the point is, he said, neither be partaker of other men's sins. He could have easily just told Timothy, don't sin. Why did he say don't be partakers of other men's sin? Because that's that Babylon. Don't get mixed up in other man's sin. Everybody see that? You see how that word partaker is a reoccurring word when it talks about us overcoming Babylon. Y'all notice that?
Mhm.
It speaks of us as if, okay, we're past the point of where we're struggling with sin on a regular basis ourselves. Like, to a debilitating extent. We're past that point. Now, our new struggle is not getting mixed up in other people's Babylon. That's why he told them, be not partakers of other men's sins. Do you see that, Jeff? Do everybody see that?
Yes.
Telling us to come out, right? We can't be mixed up with them. Babylon is confusion. If we are mixed in with them, that's confusion. You can't mix the devil and Jesus. You can't mix them together. That's what modern day Christianity mainly is. Trying to combine Christ with Satan. They just showed you this December 25th. Mixing all this paganism with Christianity. They're going to do it again in the spring with Easter, mixing all of this paganism mixed up, combining things that don't go together. You can't combine the holy with the unholy. That is a sin. That's Babylon. That's confusion. You're mixed. You got to mix it out. And we mix it out spiritually when we leave it out when we teach the word. We teach you about the birth of Christ. We teach you about the wise men that brought him gifts when he was born. We teach about his resurrection. But we mix out the Christmas and the pagan Easter, don't we, Jeff?
You sure do.
We mix that out.
Yeah, right.
Christians don't want to do that. They want to keep it mixed up. Let's mix it up a little bit. You know how you ever heard somebody say that? Let's mix it up a little bit.
Right.
Why do you think they got something called in hip hop the remix? Y'all ever notice that? Why do you think they call it the remix? I mean, your remix means to mix again. And when you see the remix, it's kind of the same song, but it's mixed up a little bit. You might throw some more people on the track that weren't on there at first. The beat's a little different. The lyrics have changed. You've mixed it up a little bit. In other words, sisters and brothers, listen carefully to this. Mixing something up also means changing it up,
Mm-hmm.
changing the original. Y'all see that? Changing the original. What did Jesus originally instruct Christians to do to remember him? He said the Passovers. Christians, they remix that. Now, let's mix that up. Let's call it the Eucharist. Right? Jesus was observing the Passover. Let's mix that up. Let's call it Easter. Changing it from the original. Still elements of the original there, but changed it up. That's what a remix is. Words have meaning. And that's what Christianity really is. It's a remix. You know, Jesus still on the track. But all this other stuff, all these other people y'all don't add on there with them, that ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. Right? It's a remix. That's why you can still see Jesus there. Like, you still see him there, but it's a remix. We don't change it all up. And we out here trying to tell y'all the original song, and y'all like, nah, we like the remix. Y'all trying to tell us the remix is the original song. No, it's not. Look what brother in the chat said, the remix featuring Satan. That's right. How you gonna put Satan on the same track with Jesus anyway? How that gonna work? And that's what y'all got. Y'all got the remix religion, right? Let's go to the last one. 1 John chapter 5. And these little young dudes, they're so energetic, so zealous about their confusion. Sit down somewhere. You don't even know what you're talking about. I don't need to hear anything from some confused child. You don't even know up from down, left from right, but you want to come over here and teach somebody. My pastor showed me, says the guy with the most deceptive image of Jesus on the planet. But your pastor told you. He didn't tell you about that image. He didn't tell you who it was modeled after. That ain't Jesus. Most Christians don't even know where that image came from. I ain't gonna tell you. I'm gonna let y'all Google that. I might put it all in perspective in the class one day. But y'all Google that. Look it up. That's not what Jesus looked like. People from that part of the world don't even look like that. And that's become the official, iconic image or portrait for Jesus. So I already know if you come in my chat room and you got that as your thumbnail or any type of variation of it, I already know you confused. You are confused. I don't need to hear nothing from you. You need to sit down somewhere. And I get it, y'all. I'm not stupid. I know your religion is supposed to give you confidence. It's supposed to give you assurance. It's supposed to give you boldness. But the problem is, man, y'all bold about confusion. Right? Y'all ain't really investigated your religion. You really haven't. See, I know what I believe. I can explain why I believe what I believe. I can get you on this stage. You can't even explain Easter to me. And that's coming up. Y'all seen me do it with people before. What are these eggs about? Why are we hiding eggs? Why are we eating chocolate bunnies? Like, what's that got to do with the resurrection of Christ? Tell me, please. Well, I don't know. Confusion, Babylon. That's what y'all tell them. The second you ask somebody, Sister Jeff, about their religion that they can't explain, even though they do it, if they say, I don't know, say Babylon. Shout it to them. Babylon. What that mean? Confusion. I'm not confused. Yes, you are. You can't even tell me why you're doing this. If you can't tell me why you're doing something, you're confused. If I'm walking through my house and my son is up in the middle of the night like he's sleepwalking, I'm like, boy, what you doing? And he wake up. I don't know. He was confused. He was confused by the sleepwalking. The dream confused him to thinking he was doing something else. He don't know why he was doing it. Same thing. You doing something and you've been doing it for years and you can't even tell me why you're doing it. That's confusion. I don't know why I'm doing this. Babylon. Shouted at him. Babylon. I had to put it on a t-shirt. Just say Babylon with an exclamation point on it, Jeff. And a finger point at you.
Right.
Just shouted Babylon. Right? 1 John chapter 5. Dude in chat house, please do it. He gonna get it. He gonna cam up every time he come on the stage too with it. Right? 1 John 5, 1-5. They think I be capping, man. I be saying stuff, Jeff, then I prove it. Like I was telling them about that Book of Eli documentary that I made. And I said I had to find out them external hard drives.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they thought I was serious or exaggerating, but I would not brought them. I'm getting an echo for somebody too. Is that you, Jeff?
No.
No, I'm talking. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not getting an echo.
Oh yeah, I was getting on my end, right?
Right.
Right. But anyway, I showed them all the external hard drives I had to go through to find it. Right? Look at him in the chat. He already got the finger and everything. See, he ready. He ready, Joe.
He's ready.
Yeah. Cyber dig, he ready. He said, quit playing, Josh, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Flip your dig, cyber your dig. He ready. He like, quit playing, Josh, go and get that merch out here. He said he will buy it. Right? Cyber dig, that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, cyber dig, yeah. Right, this is the last one. 1 John 5, 1-5.
1 John chapter 5, verse 1. Whosoever believeth that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. And everyone that loveth him, that begat, loveth him, also that is begotten of him.
That said, whosoever believeth that Jesus is the Christ, I mean, he's the Messiah, right, is born of God. Jeff and everybody else listening, do y'all believe that Jesus is the Messiah? That means the anointed one, the foretold Messiah. Do we all believe that?
100%.
Right? So that means you are born of God. You know, among other things you have to do, but just for now, you are born of God. Then it said, and everyone that loveth him that begat love of him also that is begotten of him. So if you love the one that begat, that's the Father, then you love the one that's begotten of him, the Son, right? Read verse 2.
Verse 2. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments.
It said, by this we know that we love the children of God. The children of God are the saints, Christians, believers. When we love God and keep his commandments. Notice it gave two things there. Not just one, but two. It said we love God and keep his commandments. Read the next verse.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous.
For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Every time you read, by the way, through the Bible, when they talk about God's commandments, it always means the law.
The law.
Can't show anywhere in the Bible where it never means the law. Always means the law. When we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Why would it say his commandments are not grievous? Because you got a lot of people back then, it's like the crib today, man. We couldn't keep the commandments. They were too hard. Grievous means something that's hard for you to do, something that's burdensome, something that grieves you to do it. It said his commandments are not grievous. So I don't know what these Christians talking about. We couldn't keep that old law. It was too hard. It was too hard for you not to commit adultery. It was too hard for you not to lie. It was too hard for you to take one day off from work a week? Jeff, it's hard for you to take a day off from work?
No, it ain't.
So that's the Sabbath right now.
That's right.
They was all stuck. That law was too hard. What part of it? Please, somebody tell me what part of the law was too hard for you to do?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to meet the Christian that tell me that, because that law also say thou shalt not steal. So I need to know that just in case you might be a kleptomaniac, because you can't help yourself. It's too hard for you not to steal.
Right. And it says it right there as commandments are grievous. So
they lying if they say it is, aren't they, Jeff?
you got that right, brother.
I don't get that. We couldn't keep that old law. It was too hard. What was hard? They should be saying some of the stupidest stuff because they're Babylon. They're confused. It's not hard for me not to steal. How hard is that? You know what I'm saying? For you not to steal. Unless you're a kleptomaniac or something. Right? It says commandments are not grievous. Right? Continue, please.
Verse 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
It said, for whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world. And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith. So how do you overcome the world? Because remember, the world represents Babylon. Babylon represents sin. So how do you overcome sin, Jeff? It tells you through your faith.
Mm-hmm.
Your faith in who? Jesus Christ. So the main way, the key way to overcome the world, which is not getting mixed up in it, how do you do that? Through faith in Jesus Christ. That's how you separate, because what you got to do when you separate, that means you're leaving out. But if you're leaving out, that also means you're going somewhere. So once we leave out of Babylon, y'all, where, or more specifically, Jeff, who do we go to?
When we leave Babylon.
I said, who do we go to when we leave Babylon? Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
It ain't enough for you just to separate. You got to have somewhere to go, don't you, Jeff? If Jeff say, you know what, Josh, I'm getting out of your house. I'm separating from your wicked house. I can't take it no more. I'm like, all right, Jeff, but where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to live with now? I'm going to live with Jesus. See, for you to overcome Babylon, overcome sin, you got to separate out. You got to mix out. Once you mix out, you got somewhere you need to go, though. You go to Christ. And you go to him by having faith in him and doing his commandments. That's how we overcome sin, y'all. You mix out and then you mix in with the saints. That's who you're supposed to be in the mix with. You're supposed to get mixed up with them, with the saints. Meaning, become a part of them. Get involved with them. And then once you do that, it's time to edify one another. Oh, yes. I'm going to show y'all in another class that we're supposed to be trying to build something too. Now, why is it that Satan people, all the way back, Jeff, in ancient Babylon, they're united. They build something together.
Mm-hmm.
Christians can't unite and build something.
Mm.
See, Satan can unite and they build. So see, God had to scatter them. Satan like to copy God. Okay, I'm going to scatter your people with confusion, just like you scattered mine with confusion. That's what Satan does. He likes to imitate God. Read verse 5.
Verse 5. Who is he that overcometh the world, but he that believeth that Jesus is the Son of God?
Who is he that overcometh the world, overcome Babylon, overcome sin? Because y'all know overcome the world means overcome sin. Right? It don't mean like we conquering the world right now. It means you're overcoming this sinful world, this sin. Who is he that overcometh the world but he that believeth that Jesus is the Son of God? That's how you overcome sin. You got to believe Jesus is the Son of God. You got to have faith in Jesus, and you have to do the commandments and love the other children of God. Let me ask you a question, Jeff. How can you say somebody love the children of God, which means other Christians, if they steady trying to tear them down?
Mm-hmm.
Christians don't love each other. Y'all know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Christians may love the people in their denomination, but
Mm-hmm.
Christians don't love each other. How dare y'all tell me Christians love each other? Christians are constantly trying to tear each other down. How you gonna tell me you love me and you gonna build a church right across the street from mine? That's love? You trying to take my congregation from me? How's that love? Remember I was telling y'all the other day about poachers? These are people that come on social media, come into your Bible study and start inviting people to theirs. That's disrespectful. You are a poacher. Paul said that when he was preaching, Paul said he wouldn't even go anywhere where Christ has been preached before because he don't want to build on another man's foundation. I'm going to do a class on that. Christians do that all the time. Christians disrespect each other all the time. How dare you start a church on my block, but tell me you love me? And y'all see it all the time. That's Babylon. That's confusing. Right? And you know if they start a church right up the street for you, it ain't teaching exactly what you teach. Otherwise, they'll just probably try to team up with you. That's confusion. Now, you got two churches sitting in the same neighborhood teaching two different things. They just divided the neighborhood spiritually. That's Babylon. That's confusion. And that's what they all do. And this is the type of stuff they come over here and try to drag y'all back into. I am so sick of these confused Babylonians that we need to start calling them. We're Christians, they're Babylonians. Right? They follow Babylon. We follow Christ. Right? And I'm tired of all these Babylonians coming over here trying to confuse us. Trying to confuse us. I'm not falling for it. I don't want your confusion. Keep it. I don't want your paganism. I don't want your false image of Christ. I don't want your lawlessness. Christians been doing a real good job, right? That's why we got the LGBTQ. That's why they feel so confident. Christians even support it. Y'all been doing a real job. Y'all been doing a real bang up job. Look at the world. Churches all over the place, and the world is in disarray. Who do we blame for that? We call them religious leaders. Who are they leading? They're the cause of Babylon, and that's why they're going to go down with it. So, sisters and brothers, and specifically RAR, I have shown you how to overcome Babylon, because overcoming Babylon means overcoming sin. And the only way you can overcome sin is understanding first that you are confused in some form or fashion. You were born into a confused world that was already confused and had been confused for thousands of years. Before we can go out there and try to teach anybody how to overcome sin, we first got to get them to understand that this world is jacked up. And that includes your churches too. You got to let them know that off the bat. Yo, this is messed up. Whatever church you're going to, 99.9% certain it's jacked up. It's part of the confusion. It's perpetuating the confusion. First thing we got to let you know that you don't even know what sin is. How I'm going to get you to come out of sin, you don't even know what sin is. Then when I tell you what sin is, you don't even want to acknowledge that. We ain't got to keep that old law. Well, sin is the transgression of the law. If the law done away with, we can't sin. That's confusion. Come on. Be the law. Then once we help them understand that we are under a mystery, spiritual Babylon system, and that the Bible tells us we got to get up out of it, don't mix into it, mix out of it, then they'll begin to see, hold up, if I'm mixed up by being a part of it, then to get unmixed up, I got to separate from it. These are all the foundations you got to lay before you can even tell them to overcome sin. Do y'all see? Do y'all understand now why our job is so hard? Why it's just not enough to just tell somebody you need to overcome sin? Y'all see why it's so hard for me to just say that? I got to unconfuse you first. Then I got to show you that first, and before I do that, I got to show you that you're confused. Most people don't sit long enough to even learn that they're confused. So the next time you want to know about overcoming sin or teach somebody how to overcome sin, simply show them the information in this class and let them know that you were born into a world of confusion. And maybe then they will understand that the first step to overcoming sin is to stop being confused about what sin is. We'll be back after these brief announcements. Okay, everybody. Shout out to everybody. First of all, we'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. Just so y'all know, we have classes every week, every Sabbath. We go on Clubhouse at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I try to play some nice gospel music for y'all for about 30 minutes. Then we jump here on Discord on the congregation around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also on Clubhouse, right? And on Rumble. And we do the actual class there. If anybody is interested in making a donation, if you feel blessed by what you're hearing and just like to show some support, you can do so through Cashapp. The information will be in the chat. But you can do it at the Cashapp tag, which is money sign, capital ABTM, lowercase s. Again, that's money sign, capital ABTM, lowercase s. And that stands for Absolute Bible Truth Ministries. Also, we also have Bible study during the week. So we have Bible study now. We're starting to do that every Wednesday. And I'm going to start it at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Discord and Clubhouse and Rumble, right? So we got the Sabbath study starts 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays, and Bible study during the week 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, we also got Tommy and Keanu. They do Bible study 5 days a week. They would also have that information on how to join them in the chat. Also, before we get to Q&A, got to represent, as y'all see, I'm representing my red merch. This is from Ariel Inspires. He will post this information in the chat if he is here. If not, somebody can do that for him. But also, I got to tell y'all to check out the books of my guy, Ariel Inspires. This right here, Student Success Mindset. This for all of y'all who are in high school or in college. This is the book you need to help you a better student. This is an enhancement book. But even if you take the student out of this, it just gives you a positive success mindset, the key to being successful. And this one right here, one of my personal favorites. Remember this 101 life-changing sayings, right? These are, you know what a saying is? A saying is something you say to yourself to try to motivate yourself, right? I don't see Ariel here right now, but if anybody's interested in purchasing one of his books or one of his t-shirts, hit me up in the DM and I can get that information to you. So at this point, we're going to go to the Q&A. Raise your hand if you got a question or a comment. But of course, I start with my reader first and everybody else on the stage. We're going to start with you first, Jeff. Anything you like to add about today's class?
Yeah, I'll be real brief. First of all, I wasn't able to make class during the week because during the week is very hectic for my schedule. But I listened to it this morning. Excellent class.
Praise God.
Right. And with this one, it was also good, especially dealing with this day and time, which I mean, we don't see anything but confusion. And you brought up something very interesting. You were talking about how mixed up we was before the modern times with the religions back in the 1600s, and even so, like during the late 1800s and 1900s, guys like Elijah Muhammad, Drew Ali, Wallace Farr
Mhm.
Muhammad, G. White, Charles Taze Russell, and they all got like thousands of disciples, and then some of them broke off, and then you got this new age stuff, and then you got the Black Power movement, just trying to be saviors of Black people, with their divisions, and then they got divisions amongst themselves. It's brutal. So I can imagine how someone like a teenager that's able to make it to this class like this, it just goes, man.
Mhm.
Most High definitely working with y'all. So that's definitely a blessing. And a lot of people are afraid of persecution and also giving up things that they are attached to, like holidays, that they might hear the truth. They might know what they're doing is wrong, but because of fear and desire, they can't give up these things. But I tell you, man, when you give up these things, you're gonna suffer some losses or family divisions. But the Most High, He definitely will make it up to you, man. I'm a living testimony to that, because I came up with a family. I always talk about like the witnesses, which is my grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my aunt, and then some of them had their foot like halfway into it. But I come from like
Mm.
a really hood family. I mean, so when I start challenging things, I mean, I went stuff I'm talking about, like we talk about the arguments and the slander on Facebook. I had smoothies thrown at me and all of that. It was hectic.
Smoothies. What?
Yeah, man. I like challenging people, man. I just didn't like what was going on in my family. And I wanted to make a difference with the younger ones. And so I got a 2-bedroom apartment, and I call my apartment the boot camp. And then I have like my little cousins, my nieces and nephews come through. And mind you, I didn't graduate high school. I got a GED, but I come where my siblings all went to prison. None of us graduated. My uncle, same thing. My father was straight up. The kids that I had through this family to come through the household. You know about my nephew who I baptized last summer, and he tell you he did it some time. He used to bang. I got another nephew who studies. I don't like his doctrine, but I introduced him to the Hebrews, whatever. But he's tries his best to take care of his family. I also had a nephew want to go to college, come right through this house. The last one that I had, my niece, graduated 3 years, within 3 years, work a full-time job and go to school. I have the males in my family, the younger ones, they tell me all the time, hey, you fired me or whatever. So what I'm trying to tell you is through the Most High just using me as a vessel, man, people gonna leave you, but He will replace good people around you. And the good thing is when they have issues, they'll come to me with issues, and I'm able to give them stuff that's going to build them up, show them the ins and outs of what they're doing with wisdom, instead of that whole hood mentality. I'm telling you as a living testimony, man. Don't ever be afraid of persecution, because the Most High will strengthen you. And with that, great class once again. God willing, see y'all next Sabbath. And I'm going to be in and out. Thank you.
Praise God, Jeff. Praise God. And we appreciate you reading and all the commentary. And like you were saying about that persecution, that will come. It's a lot of stuff that plays a role into you getting here, your journey. You follow what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go through, and a lot of people ain't built for it. Like Jesus already told us, y'all. He already told us everybody ain't gonna make it. That's the sad reality. When you read about the parable of the sower, he already told us everybody ain't gonna make it. Everybody got a way they're gonna respond to this word when they first hear it. Right? And they all start off all enthusiastic.